Hello and welcome back to Xpwaste, where I am a myth. I'm Michael.
And I'm Oxie. If you're new around here, welcome. We're a podcast that talks almost exclusively about old school RuneScape. We say almost exclusively because while we do love the game and while we can yap about it a lot, which, look at our episode catalog, we've done a lot of yapping about old school RuneScape. We also get distracted and get off on tangents sometimes. So, brace yourselves for that. If you're not new around here, Michael's a myth, and so am I. So, with that in mind, Michael, how has your week been?
Oxie, my week has been fan-friggly-tastic.
Friggly, wow.
Friggly, yeah. I've gotten a lot done. And most of it was this weekend, actually. Over the week, like the stretch of the week, I had a lot of time to AFK, and I was prepping for one of the big things that I did this week, which was herb lore. And so I was, making potions and collecting secondaries. And what have I done that's not herb lore? So I can talk about that first. Not a lot, actually. Did a few herb runs, I guess, but like that is related to herb lore. But I guess the big one is, one of the big ones is I got 82 herb lore. I did a +5 boost for anti-venoms, and I got the ornate rejuvenation pool in my POH.
Gaming.
Very happy about that. So that was last night, and I stayed up way too late. I think I was almost to 80, so I was like halfway through 79 at like 9:30 or 10 my time. And I'm like, if I start this now, I will be awake past midnight, because what I'm inevitably going to do is I'm going to get 80 within like 30 minutes. And then I'll look at my XP and I'll go, oh, it's not that far from 81. And then I'll do it again and I'll be like, oh, it's not that far from 82. And then I'll get 82. And then I'll want to do the +5 boost for the anti-venoms, and I'll get it. And then I'll want to do the +5 boost for the construction, and I'll get it. And then I'll have the pull tonight. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's all going to take several hours. And it did. And I committed, and it took several hours, and I was awake until 1:30 in the morning doing all of that. So yeah, but I got it. I got it from like 79 or 80 to 82 with a lot of help from TMD. So thank you, TMD, for all the herb lore XP and diaries and doing herb runs myself. But yeah, 82 herb lore and a rejuvenation pool. And that was last night. And then Friday night, Oxie and I did Dragon Slayer 2.
Yeah.
And And if you were to take a bet and answer the question, has Michael ever done Dragon Slayer 2 in old school RuneScape? And answer that yes, you would be incorrect. That stream for our Patreon was the first time I have ever done that quest in old school RuneScape. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Michael, you have a quest cape on your main. Yes, I do. But I let my friend log in and do quests for me because I didn't care. And I didn't feel the need to do quests on my own. Which, after doing the quest myself, I greatly regret that, because I think doing quests on your own in like an actual progression from starting the account, going through the early, going through the mid game, getting to the end game, like doing the quests on your account, especially on an Iron Man where you have to get the gear and the supplies and do it all yourself. Doing that is great preparation for later in your account when you're going to be doing other content. So for instance, if I had done Dragon Slayer 2, if I had done Song of the Elves, if I had done all of these hard quests myself, I think I would be more prepared and have a better time doing PVM on my own in the end game. Like I'm relearning this game as an account that can't trade, or I mean, it can trade, but like I can't use the GE. I have to either rely on my group mates or get the stuff myself, and it's proving challenging. Like, I mean, Galvik wasn't that hard, but like I took a 75 on the dome right off the bat and died. my first attempt because I just like he shot a fireball and I didn't move. So like it's not like super super hard, but I feel like I wish I would have done that stuff on my account myself and not relied on other people. And I feel like I would be in a different spot. I may not be the person I am today, where I'm like a scaler at heart. If I had done it, I would have progressed in such a way that I'd be like having Blood Torva and an Infernal Cape right now or something. I don't know. We all take different paths, and that's the path I took, and it's led me to where I am now. But things could have been different. So after all that monologuing about life, it was fun. It was a great quest. Frick Dallas Jones, character's the worst. Like Oxie has this like weird thing with Charlie the Tramp. I think Dallas Jones is my least favorite NPC of all time. Man's incompetent and just wants to ride on other people's coattails, and I'm glad he dies.
Michael hates doing quests. Michael likes Michael likes completing quests, but Michael, in the process of doing the quest, Dallas Jones would be like, "Hey, I'm gonna sit here and research this. Can you get the pieces of the puzzle?" He'd be like, "You useless fuck." Hey, I'm gonna press on ahead and check out this door. Can you get there yourself? Yeah, what the fuck did we even hire you for? The entire time, Michael was fuming. Dallas Jones would ask him to do anything. I think Michael just expected to fight, like show up, fight Vorkath, fight Galvek, and not do any actual quest bits prior. And then he fucking hates Dallas Jones for
Dallas
no
Jones is the
reason.
Worst. No, it's the worst. He's like, so say you're going off on this adventure and you're in a group, right? And you agree to meet up at this location. And it's a big surprise. Like you don't know what's behind this massive door. And you get there and you're like, "Hey, you beat me here. Are you ready to go?" And he's like, "Yeah, I already tried the door." What if the door had opened? What if it had opened and he just spoiled it without you even being there?
Then he would have met you inside the unlocked room. What do you mean?
No, dude. It just feels shitty to like go on ahead without your group and just trudge on your own. Like, why did you you don't need me. So stop acting like we're in a group. We're in a group for a reason.
I think he's projecting here, guys. I don't know what your deal with Dallas Jones is, dog. I didn't think he was that bad, but
it's terrible. He's terrible. And the other thing that bugged me, it's just like tiny little story beats where, and this is another example of something I thought was kind of silly within the quest. You go and you go to the Varrock library in Relda or whatever his name is, and he's like, "Go and find this book." And I'm like, "You're the librarian. Why don't you go get it or at least show me where it's at?" Instead of like, "Hey, here's a vague description of this book. Go find it." No, like we could have had a nice cutscene where he walks over to the shelf, hands you the book, and like you guys read it together and you discover this information. But he's no like, "Hey, did you find the book?
Have you ever been to a library before?
Yeah.
Have you, has a librarian ever once you said, "Hey, I'm looking for books on history. Can you find me a book on World War II history?" And the librarian goes, "You know what? I know exactly what specific book you're looking for." Runs out from behind the counter, goes all the way back into the section, and goes, "No. All right, here it is. This book right here.
Yeah.
Let's read it together and learn about World War II." Has that ever happened to you at a library before?
Yeah, it has actually.
Okay, cool.
So
has that ever happened to you at the library as an adult and not a small child?
That's my expectation of a good story beat for a quest where you are going to like the guy who knows everything about everything, and like all dialogue is leading you to this point of like figuring out the information, and he's just like, "Oh, go find it. All the bookshelves. I don't know which one it is." I'm like, "You work here.
It's not
Bro.
Okay, listen, Boomer. It's not
He's
his
the librarian.
job to get it for you. It's his job to know where it is and tell you where it is.
He didn't tell me.
You've killed Jad.
He's like, "Go find it."
You're the one trying to stop the fucking Dragonkin. He's just a bookkeeper. He's got other shit to do for the Varrock Castle Library that isn't, I don't know, stop the fucking Dragonkin. That's out of the realm of most regular people. Right? So you're getting all Karen uppity about him not finding a book for you. I think you just hate doing quests.
No, I don't
Michael
mind doing
hates
quests,
being
Oxie.
asked to do shit on quests. He wants to kill
I
and get
don't,
quest point
though.
rewards.
I literally don't. I like quests. I wouldn't have read every ounce of that dialogue if I didn't like doing quests. I just don't like when stories don't make sense or when it feels out of place. And there was a few things in this quest that felt out of place, is all I'm saying. Like, that doesn't happen very often with quests in old school. So that's why it stuck out to me. Because, like, normally the story makes sense and there's not these weird little interactions. I'd never done this quest before. So I'm doing this very, very fresh with, like, I've done all of the endgame stuff and this just felt weird. I feel like I'm valid in calling that out. I like doing quests, and I don't want that to be my new thing that you're like, oh yeah, that one time you did a quest and you complained about it, so you just hate him.
I can't wait. I can't wait for
quests.
Michael to do Desert Treasure 2. He's gonna be like, "What do you mean
done
I
Desert
have to
Treasure
go around?
2.
What do you mean I have to go around and find all the stuff in the Shadow Realm myself? You're just sitting here, you stupid dwarf. What do you mean I have to go get the keys? You're back there. Why can't you get the keys?"
I've done Desert Treasure 2.
Michael's going to fucking hate Desert Treasure 2.
Oxie, I've done Desert Treasure 2.
I know, but not with your newfound hatred of chores and quests.
Oh, well, we'll see. I'll report back when I do that. So, let's see. So Dragon Slayer 2 did that. And then, yeah, I killed Warcath 6 times. It's not that it's a hard fight. It's like, it just takes a while and it's resource intensive, if that makes sense.
Dare I ask
I'm getting
why?
bodied.
What resources are you using a lot of?
Food?
What kind of food?
Sharks and cronbons?
Thank God. Okay. Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say brews, dude. I'm using like 4 brews a kill. I was going to say, Michael, please just
I
take
could if I wanted
cronbons.
to.
No.
You know why? Because I
no.
have 1,300 brews in my bank right now. 4 dose. So I could if I wanted to.
Nope. Save them. You got other
Literally
stuff
could.
to use. You say you have said self-proclaimed you're on your raiding arc. You can't be wasting brews at Vorkath of all places.
The 2 raids that I enjoy doing give you supplies at some point. So
okay, all 3 raids give you supplies at some point. You still need brews going into the fight.
Sure. Anyway, it takes a while, like 4 to 5 minutes. I think my PB is like 4 something, 430, 420, 416. Let me look, because now I'm curious. PB Vork. 4 minutes and 27 seconds. It's my PB, personal best.
That's the shitty part about Vorkath on an Iron Man. It takes a long time. It takes a long time.
You randomly said, get Elite Void. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Why did you say that last night?
Well, because I was doing barrows and on the GIM for the tile.
Mm-hmm.
We got the barrows tile done, and I did not want to play on the GIM anymore because our next task was like chambers or something. And yeah, it was chambers or easy clues. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a main with implings. I'll just do that on my main. And I saw you were killing Vorkath, or somebody on my team was like, oh, Michael's killing Vorkath, because I have a bunch of TNL guys on my team. I got Mima, I got Raz, I got Ritma. I got a bunch of people who are in the clan and also in the Discord. So they like popped over and like, oh, Michael's killing Vorkath, or you said like you had 6 KC in the chat. So I, before I logged off, was like, go get Elite Void for Vorkath, because Elite Void, it's a real nice game changer. Elite Void range. I mean, get all the Elite Void. Don't just get the range set. Like, just spend a day next weekend or something like that. Just spend 8 to 10 hours. Just smash out Elite Void. And you'll be happy with it at Vorkath, because it does help. It's made of paper, so those range attacks will still hit you pretty hard, but it does actually make a pretty substantial difference. Yeah, and then I just logged out, went back to the main, and did 750 eclectic implings worth of easy clues, which only turned out to be like 27 easies. Did get some clog slots, though, but not the item we needed for bingo. And then, in an unsurprising turn of events, Mima got the item. So
what's the format of this bingo? Because you're able to play on both accounts, and it counts for the tile?
So the way Raidsmank does their bingos is you can only have one account actively doing something at a time. but you can log it on any account. So let's say like I can't have my main and my iron doing easy clues at the same time. I can only have one account doing an activity. I can't dolo Sarah. I can't. Not that I can't use my iron to
How do they know?
but like I can't. What?
How do they know you're not multi-log?
Honor system.
Oh, okay.
Their bingos are only like 40 or 50 people. It's like 40 or 50 people who have all known each other for several years. This season they had a bit of a TNL invasion. There's like 20 TNL members in there, but because a lot of the people who are higher up in Raids Bank know TNL really well, it just went with the same kind of honor system rules. So it's actually been going pretty well so far.
Fine.
But yeah, that's just how it works. You just can't have multiple accounts working on the same thing at a time, but you can supply run, you can do all the normal stuff you can do in a bingo. You just can't have two of your accounts pushing for a drop.
That's pretty neat. I don't know if it would work in a TNL bingo, but it's a neat concept because there's a lot of people that have multiple accounts and a lot of people want to progress a lot of accounts. And I have fallen prey to that, like, which account do I do this event on? Because the drops would be really nice on the iron, but they would be really easy on the main. So it's nice that you can split your time between that.
Yeah. I think for the scale of our events, it's easier to just have one account because because then like the answer is no. We have no idea to know if they're doloing. We have no idea to know if they have 50 caskets on each account, right? Like we have no way to tell that. We can't confirm that. So when it's like 50 people who you're pretty close with, that's one thing. When it's 500 people and you don't know probably 80% of the people on the other teams, like it's impossible to do that. Like we have a good idea of who people are, but like other people don't know other people. So we shouldn't have to vouch for everybody. So let's just take that off entirely. So I think TNL should just stick with one account per bingo. But
oh yeah, for sure. Otis said you got a double chest. I didn't see a second drop last night.
I did not.
I just
get
saw
a
the
double
Derek's
chest.
great
I got
axe.
a great axe and a great axe collection log slot. So it wasn't a double
That's
chest.
what I thought it was. Yeah. They're expensive still, but
yeah, dude, it was
still not.
I got 3 items. Only one of them mattered. I got the Verax body, and we didn't even finish the Verax set. We were so down bad last night, dude. We probably got 100 Barrows items between the team, and we had
Holy
3
smokes.
of the 4 pieces for like 4 of the 5 brothers for hours. Hours.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
You need a whole set.
We need a complete set. We got like 3 or 4 Darox great axes. We got like what item? We got like 6 of one item. Zeno got like the 6. Maybe it was Darox great axes, but we got too many for a while. But yeah, no, it was we eventually did Barrows, or we eventually got the Barrows tile done. So I stopped doing it on the iron, and I've yet to log in on the iron for this bingo because the tiles that are left are like the current row that we're on is like hard mode top next Slayer. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing any of that on the iron.
Well, speaking of you playing an account, what have you been up to this week?
I'm gonna blow your mind when I tell you I did Dragon Slayer 2 on my Iron Man this week, which was fun. And as an onlooker who's already done Dragon Slayer 2, I could lick on people, you know, I'm down bad. Anyways, just let that one cook, you know, whatever. Yeah, liquor. I hardly know her. That was actually a Raids Bank bingo team name I had, but it was spelled like the drink. Yeah, I did Dragon Slayer 2, and as someone who did the quest live on stream years ago and had a blast with it, it was still just as much fun. Because we had already done Song of the Elves, I didn't get my favorite interaction from the quest, which was disappointing. Because when your character, like, again, if you haven't done Song of the Elves, but you have done up to Morning's End Part 2, when King Rold asks you to recruit King Lathis, your character's like, are you sure about that? Are you sure you want King Lathis? And he's like, yeah, we need everyone. You're like, okay. Like, kind of cringing a bit. Because we already did Song of the Elves, I think the new dialogue was King Rold's advisor being like, you want to talk to the Fremeniks, those barbarians? I'm like, that takes out so much of that's so much less funny than the other line, unfortunately. But the quest was good. One banged Vorkath, one banged Galvek. I swear to God, 27 zeros in a row.
Yeah,
Galvek.
it was
I
insane.
was cruising through the Galvek kill. We got to the Earth phase. 0, 0, 0, 0. I was gonna finish that fight with like probably 5 brews and a couple Karambwans. I had to go through all of my Karambwans and then 2 more brews just to stay alive through the 0 simulator. That was the last phase of the fight with Diamond Boltsy. It was crusty. That was probably the worst part of the quest, but otherwise it was good. I will say, as someone who was frankly terrified that it was going to take you like 9 attempts to kill Galvek, I was quite pleased that you got it in 3. 3 real attempts.
Technically 2.
No, I think it was 3. Because the first time you were killing Galvek, you died in P1. The second time it was a P3 death, and then you got it the third time. I'm not counting the ones where you just sort of like one tick killed yourself with the bomb
and died.
Like,
okay.
the first time Michael gets into Galvek, right? I'm like, remember, you want to move vertically, kind of up and down, so you don't hit the spikes on the side. He goes, okay, cool. Doesn't move. Immediate, like 100. I'm like, good talk, Michael. He's like, oh, I need to move.
100K down the drain.
Yeah, 100K right down the drain. But for me, it was hysterical. So when I did Dragon Slayer 2 years ago, there's a clip of me first starting the quest, and I'm killing the first black dragon after the cutscene. And I'm like, I think I can at least make it to the first checkpoint, you know? Because DS2, you kill 3 dragons, get a checkpoint, kill 3 more, get a checkpoint. I said, I think we can at least make it to the mithril dragon. Bam, just nuked by a firebomb. And I'm like, oh. I swear to, it wasn't showing on the stream, unfortunately. It was Michael's POV, but I did the same thing on like this account years later, where I was just like, whatever, dude, and I'll just probably kill all 6 of them in one go. Bam, immediately killed. And I start cackling on the stream.
Yeah.
Because
it's good times.
Like you can't make that shit up, dude. Like I just forgot about the firebomb mechanic. And it's a little like you can tell Galvek is older because there's no shadow where the firebomb goes.
Yeah,
like that's one
true.
thing that I noticed when doing the quest again. There's no shadow with Vorkath or with Galvek, because every other thing that lands on the ground, there is like an incoming shadow for in the game that tells you to get out of the way. So that's what But I had a good time with DS2. That was on the Iron. On the main, I got some smithing levels. I got all the molds for Giant's Foundry, and I have enough bars to get 90. I have more than enough bars to get 95 smithing. I can actually get up to 96, like close to 96 with Giant's Foundry. But I only need to use like 12 or 1500 more bars to green log the thing, and I gotta level with you. Once it's green logged, I'm out of there. Like, I don't dislike Giant's Foundry. It's pretty chill. It's a little bit more intense of what I'd like, you know, because like if I'm skilling at home, I kind of like the ability to take a break and not like, I don't care about max XP per hour, you know, like not everything has to be AFK, but it's the same reason I don't love Guardians of the Rift, in that I don't want to be locked in somewhere for like 10 minutes at a time. I don't want to be locked in for 5 minutes where I can't get up. I can't see what are my cats doing? Can I get something to eat? Is someone going to call me? Like, I understand I sit at the computer for a lot longer than 5 minutes at a time, but the idea that I cannot look away from what I am doing is just something that does not really appeal to me very much as a skiller. So
yeah,
that's my one downside with Giant's Foundry. But I'm getting swords done in like 4 minutes. I got 2 of the 4 smiths pieces, so like it's going pretty well. You know, I'm in a dangerous headspace of like, can I get a sub 4 minute sword? And I'm like, you gotta stop. You gotta stop right now, or you're gonna be in the bin. You're gonna try to speed run Foundry. You gotta not do that. And then I have been rune crafting a little bit here and there. I was gonna do zombie pirates for the tile, because the tile is get a scroll from zombie pirates, a 1 in 20k drop, which is like a 20+ hour grind. And I said, you know, no. I got killed almost immediately on a 2200 world. A team logged in and I lost 2 mil. And I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to complete this tile anyways. I would rather do hard mode top till 2 o'clock in the morning than do this.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm rune crafting currently. Mima, one of my teammates, is in the recording booth chat. He's gonna go, "What do you mean?" And my team's gonna flame me for it. But yeah, I think I got 93 last week. I haven't been doing as much rune crafting because I've been busier doing other stuff like PVMing and not suffering. Oh my god, that's what happened this week. I totally forgot about that. I did a shadow rebuild. I finally sent it for the shadow rebuild. I was like, something else important happened. I sent it for the shadow rebuild. Downgrading Missouri F to regular Missouri and Ancestral to Virtus got me like an extra 350 mil. So I was able to keep like Dragon Claws and my Web Weaver bow and things like that. I did have to sell my Void Waker, so unfortunately I had to get rid of the Black Lightsaber, but I'll get that back eventually. I feel like I didn't have to sell too much. Like
you could have just got like the Bone Claws and sold the Dragon Claws.
Yeah.
Kept the Void Waker, bro.
So I compared the two for the content mainly that was coming up on the bingo. And I kind of determined that like of the content that I realistically am going to be able to take part in, the bingo is only 5 days. It went from like Friday to Wednesday. So the bingo's already over when this episode comes out. I kind of was like, dude, Dragon Claws are better for the things I'm going to want to do, which is Theater of Blood. Like, they're better for that. So I opted to bin the Void Waker. And plus, binning the Void Waker gave me a little bit of extra cash, because had I binned the Claws, I would have had like no money left over. So I binned the Void Waker, got a little bit of extra walking around money. But yeah. Did the shadow rebuild, got the Tombs of a Masket pet. It didn't count for a tile. I was pissed about it. But it is now the second time in a bingo during a raid. I ran up to a chest at a white light and said, "Any pet getters?" and popped the collection log right there.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's good. Downside is now I have to learn TOA so I can get the mogs. But
do you have to learn it, or can you just like DM Jesse?
No, I mean, people said that. They're like, "Oh, do the Jesse balcony tech," which is you stand on the balcony and have Jesse do the entire raid for you.
Exactly.
I'm not going to do that because I know myself and I will hate myself if I don't at least attempt to get the mogs myself. I don't think I'm going to do them. Like, I kind of was... I'm wavering on whether or not I want to try to get a Fang kit by myself. My boys on my team think I can get a Fang kit by myself. Not right now, because I don't know how to use the yellow stick that well. But like in time, I'm sure I could. But if I do it in a duo, I'm not going to be that upset about it. But I'm not going to balcony tech my way to anything in TOA. Like if I'm going to be there, even if it has to be in a duo where I quote unquote get carried, I still have to not die. And
True.
Cum phase alone is enough to ruin a man's life. So, I think it'll happen over time, but I know the Akka one's going to be horrible. The Akka Transwong is going to be the worst. So, I'm not even that level 4 Akka, dude. It's like it's got to be level 4 with every invocation turned on in like a 400 plus raid. Like it is like exactly. It's comically stupid, and you only get 1 Mog per raid, so you have to do you have to level up each room individually to level 4. So you have to do at least 4 raids at 400 level, and then you have to do a 5th raid to get the Warden's one to make it like the corrupted, like the floating Warden at the end. So
yeah,
who knows? I might be doing a lot of TOA. I've yapped a lot about what I've been doing this week. So what are we talking about today, Michael?
Well, I actually didn't know that the Summer Summit was coming up whenever I suggested this, but Summer Summit is dangerously close. September 7th, 2024, we're going to get Summer Summit 2024. And today we're going to take a little stab at guessing potentially what could be showing up in the Summer Summit. We've attended at least 4 of them in the past couple of years. And so I have the list of like everything that's been announced in the last couple of Summer Summits and Winter Summits.
I was like, did we miss one? We've been to all of them. There's only been 4. So confused.
So we've been to all of them.
Throw back to Summer 21 when they had us like live tweeting, and we were a brand new show at the time. We had a brand new Twitter account. So we were like we kept being like SpongeBob, like there I am, because like our tweets would show up
Oh,
at the
yeah.
bottom of the thing. Quest
That was
locked
fun.
raid, quest locked raid. That was a good time.
That was a lot of fun. So we're gonna take a stab at trying to figure out, what they're gonna talk about, and then when we go back after the summer summit, we can go back and see what we got right or what we got wrong, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So Summer Summit 2024, right off the bat, I think it's kind of obvious, but they're gonna announce a new league. What this league will be, that is the question. I think that's more of the question than are they going to announce a league? If I had to take a bet here and say, yes, there's going to be a league, but what is it going to be? I'm thinking Twisted League 2. Kind of how they did Trailblazer 2. I think they're going to revisit Twisted League because not a lot of people got to play that one.
Twisted League would go insanely hard if Varlamore Part 2 was out. I think that's gotta be their thing, which is another prediction that I unfortunately have is now again they're going to talk about Varlamore because in their Winter Summit thing, they said Summer 24 area expansion continues, the Herbal activity, the Hailstorm Mountain, the new group boss, and more quests come out for Varlamore. I would guess in the next couple of weeks we hear something about Varlamore Part 2 that comes out. I don't know if it's going to be Summit necessarily. The only thing the only excuse of why it could be at the Summit is if they do a rat boss thing where they say, hey, it drops next week or like it comes out tomorrow. Like that's the only reason why I think that could work. But I think a Twisted League 2 with everything that's come to that continent and all of the changes that have been made over the last 5 years could go insanely hard.
Yeah.
Question is, would they give us Vardorvis?
That would be, I don't know. It's like a major piece of content, but how do you swing that? I mean, they could just say you have Vardorvis, right? But like what from Vardorvis is useful without the other 4? Like you're not going to have a Dagonoth ring and you're not going to have any of the other axe pieces. I guess Virtus?
In the first, which wouldn't even matter because you have Ancestral on that continent. Yeah. In the first Twisted League, from what I have heard, a lot of the stuff in Zaya is like secondary components. And what they did was they had Hydra drop the Dragon Hunter Lance. Instead of dropping the Hydra Claw, drop the Dragon Hunter Lance.
Oh, yeah.
So if they did, instead of the Axe Head, the Executioner's Axe, instead of the Altar Vestige, the Altar Ring, that could be fun. They just say, hey, you've completed Desert Treasure 2, which could open up a lot of other fun things of like what other quests have we now completed that are available to us to order to have that done. I imagine you're going to have to do...
Oh, what if you got Ancients?
The problem with Ancients is you can't really switch to Ancients is the issue. Chaos Cleric is banned from the Discord. After his post, Chaos Cleric has been banned from the Discord. This time it's actually real. I've actually kicked him out. I know he's done.
He said, I'll see myself out.
Yeah, holy shit, dude. That is horrible.
Can we even show that on screen?
We probably can, but like, oh my god, that is... Oh, he's banned. He's
you guys are seeing it.
He's done forever. Anyways, giving us Vardorvis would give us the entire DT2 storyline, in theory, right? But what else would it... Like, what else could be unlocked from the mainland on Zaya? A lot of Zaya's quest lines are very self-contained.
Oh, yeah.
We'd probably get Eagle's Peak done, so we could do box trapping in Zaya, which would be cool.
Which I think they did in the first one.
Yeah, because we would have chins. Obviously, we would get Druidic Ritual done. Obviously, we would get Rune Mysteries done. But, like, I don't know, man. I guess, do you runecraft in Zaya by just doing Arceus Library to 77?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That was the tech. I'm going to be really sad if it's Twisted League 2 and we don't get Varlamore Part 2 because literally the best XP for agility was in Wintertod.
Oh, right. Because we have the Shazian courses now.
Oh, right.
That's still like are gonna suck, but like it's still gonna be like a 20-hour to get to 99. But
they could do the boots. The boots that
they could
did
do
last
the boots.
time.
They could do the Trickster boots. I really think if they say Twisted League 2, they will almost certainly have Varlamore Part 2 out by that time. I think that will
I don't see
be
why not.
a
Yeah.
hugely wasted opportunity to not have Varlamore Part 2 be out. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I could see myself getting a quiver potentially. That would be like the biggest, hardest content, I think, on the, I mean, unless you do like challenge modes, but quiver in Varlamore would be a lot of fun. Man, there's so much like, it's a whole different league. Like you think to yourself, Twisted League 2, we've done it. It was small and contained, but like Varlamore opens up a whole world
The
of
best
like
is
melee gear and range gear. I mean, you don't have any range gear or melee gear from Chambers. So if you're doing Moons of Peril, you have a lot of great stuff to round out your account.
I'm trying to think of a cape. Genuinely, I think the best in slot cape you could get, unless I'm mistaken, is the Obsidian Cape T from Master Clue Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
I really
Yep.
don't think there is anything else that you could unlock cape wise, because there's no Legends cape, there's no Myth cape, there's no Fire cape, there's no Infernal cape.
Chaos Cleric says mixed tide cape, which is probably a shout.
Okay, yeah, that's probably going to see a lot of those. It's going to go. That's going to be like the old Obsidian helmet from the first Trailblazer League. It's going to go down in history as like, I will never wear this in the main game, but it's got a special place in my heart here. You can get Furies, because at least you get Onyx from, I think you get Onyx from Skatizo, but you also get Onyx from Coliseum now, I'm pretty sure.
And Tecton.
That's a really shitty. That's a real unless they boost that drop rate. That's a really shitty CM reset over and over again to kill CM Tecton for a regular Onyx, dude. Oh, that'd be horrible. I think Twisted League 2. I think that's a fair prediction.
What's a good second option?
They'd have to think of something totally new. I don't think they could do Trailblazer again. You know,
well, like another continent, another area locked, like Mauritania locked.
but I think that's
like
too small.
Too small, yeah.
I think many like Zaya is unique in that it's massive and there's so much shit to do there's so much shit to do on Zaya alone, but now you include Varlamore and all the additions that have been made to Zaya over the years. Like, assuming we do get Varlamore Part 2, it's insanely large. And I think like that alone makes it viable for a league. Mauritania is really tiny. Like Mauritania's content would at a point just be not fun. Like your best in slot range item would probably be a magic short bow from Clue Scrolls. Your best in slot mage would be a Sang staff. Prior to a Sang staff, your best in slot mage would be like manually casting strike spells or something.
Barrows. Yeah,
it'd be an RM staff.
Like getting
yeah,
but
even to like get to RMs, which is like 70 something mage, you're talking like you have to get like a powered staff from a Clue Scroll or something.
Mm-hmm.
Your range gear is Carols, your mage gear is RMs, your melee gear is Inquisitor. But like you get some cool stuff, but like there's no cape, there's no backpack.
It's kind of boring.
There's no backpack, there's no melee cape upgrade, there's no mage cape, there's nothing helpful. So I think if they're gonna do area locked, it's gotta be Twisted League 2. And if it's not area locked, it's gotta be a totally wacky concept, which is tough.
Group Iron Man leagues.
No, I don't know how many times
I know you hate it, but I think it would be very interesting.
It's a horrible idea.
It's a horrible idea, but it's an idea.
Oh,
Bronze Man League would be kind of fun. Like I'm spoiling my predictions, but I think if they release Bronze Man mode, it would be really cool to have a Bronze Man League. One thing I would be kind of upset to see for like the third time in a row would be like a focused combat tree or like a focused combat route with the relics. I think that locking yourself to one really OP method of doing damage is kind of overdone. in my opinion. I don't remember what they did in Twisted League. If you had to pick like melee, range, or magic, but for like the last 3, that's been the meta. That's how what the big shtick is. You go down this progression of unlocks. I don't know. I would like to see something new in that regard, and even like the different skilling relics too. Something new.
I definitely agree. Mixing up the relics could be nice, but having done Shattered Relics, which did not focus on a particular combat style and instead said, what if you were just all around a god?
Mm-hmm.
I think part of that was less fun because you had to manage. I think what I enjoy about the combat relics and leagues is learning how to like manage all of the different learning how to manage situations that you're used to having like a tribrid setup for.
Mm-hmm.
Chambers, you know it's a lot of range leading up to Ohm, and then it's then it's mage and melee, and then it's range at the end. But like, what if you have garbage magic and range gear? Or what if you're the only one with range, so you just do all the damage at Ohm's head? Like, how do you go about these encounters differently? I think they're gonna have a hard time like locking it, not even locking it, because like it's not that the other combat style becomes bad. It's just the other two are normal compared to the god tier of the other one. The only reason why I say it's going to be challenging is because I think the Moons of Peril are a melee boss. Like I don't know if they need to be killed with melee, but like
that's where I had like the idea is like your biggest mega weapon is a T-bow. You have other weapons that you can get, but like magic wise, what are we looking at? Range wise, I get Kodai. Range, you have the best one would probably be the T-bow. And then melee, what do you get with melee? You have to go to Moons. So to lock you into one specific combat style, I highly doubt people would go with melee when Twisted Bow exists. And yes, Kodai is like your best in slot, but it's also not a shadow. So like a mega weapon, probably everyone would pick range. And that just seems kind of boring.
I mean, I agree that it could be tough, but you think like melee does have some potential. So like if we look at Zaya, like the potential that we have there, we have Trash Pass just got Dragon Claws, right?
Yeah,
so that's a fun build, right? Dragon Claws is a fun build. Dragon Hunter a 2-tick Dragon Hunter Lance could be a good time. All the Perilous Moons items, right? The maracas, right? Those could be a good time. The Lattle that scales off your melee gear. I know it's a range weapon, but scaling off melee gear, if there's any boosts there. If we really do get Vardorvis and we get the Executioner's Axe, that shit goes insane. A 2-tick Executioner's Axe? Holy shit.
I guess you get a whip too. If you get a...
You would get a whip. Yep.
You would get a whip.
You'd get a whip. It might take a while to get a whip, but you would get one in theory. You could also get an Abyssal Dagger in theory. I think...
Oh, because we have Konar. Forgot about that. Was Konar in the Twisted League?
Yeah, she was. What do you mean?
Okay.
An Abyssal Dagger comes from regular Abyssal Demons.
No, I was racking my brain for who a Slayer Master would be, and I'm like, did we have Slayer in Twisted League? But we did.
Yeah, we
did, because Konar was a thing.
Magic is going to be kind of crusty, but you would probably manually cast with a staff until you got the Blue Moon staff thing, because I think that's a magic weapon. Although it could be a melee, I don't know.
Funny enough, I think it has a strength bonus, but it's a magic weapon.
And then if the Huecoatl comes out, that's I think an anti-dragon magic weapon, I'm pretty sure. And then assuming they drop the completed piece and not the component, Chambers Azeric would drop the Kodai wand and not the Kodai insignia.
True.
Which would be good. And then you'd also have Ancestral and Augury. So I think Zaya is built out a lot more now, where if you did get locked to a combat style, you would be on a path. Don't get me wrong. You would have to choose a very specific and very refined path of like how to get your best in slot stuff. But I feel like that's the case with all leagues. Like I took the melee relic. So what did I do the whole time? What was my big goal with melee?
Door build or just top?
Nope. Scythe. I wanted a
Scythe.
scythe. I wanted a 2-tick scythe. And I got one, and I took that bitch everywhere, and it was amazing. So I think just because you're boxed in doesn't mean it will lead to bad gameplay. The only question I have for the people who have done it, can you kill Saul Herodit with something that isn't melee? Because that will be stink. But on the flippity flip, you can't kill Zuck with a melee weapon. And all the melee people could get Infernal Capes in Leagues 2 and Leagues 4. So it's possible to use the maracas or the claws if you wanted to. I believe they're actually pronounced muckweedles. Muckweedles, I think. Whatever they are. I don't know. Could be Muckahoddle.
Yeah, Brooks said 2-tick Muckahoddle, Pogface. Like that would be pretty huge.
That could be fun.
Boom boom. Boom boom.
So you could kill Soul with that. It would just be slower. Then we're assuming it's going to be a 2-tick speed, but we don't know what it could be. I really like the combat relics just because I really like the challenge that they pose for experienced players. And I would hope other people like that too. But I understand like the relics probably would need to be mixed up a bit. Because if it's just Trailblazer relics on Zaya, while that could be a fun formula, I think we need some variance in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like I never thought that they could top themselves after they did Trailblazer League, and we saw like the concepts and the different, like, you know, what the overarching league was about. I never thought that they could top themselves, but they've done it time and time again. So I have no doubt that Jagex can do amazing things with leagues. Really excited to see it, because like this last league, Trailblazer 2, was the first time in any league that I thoroughly enjoyed the gameplay, and I thoroughly enjoyed the league start to finish. I think I played day 1 to like the last week because I was pushing for Rune Cup, and they made it to where you just had to hit a point threshold and you were there.
That's
instead of
so
like chasing a goalpost.
That's so nice.
Yeah. So if it's anything like the last league, I think I will be thoroughly addicted and miss it when it's gone. Because I was watching a Jeprite video, and he did like a mini league series where he just chose like all the northern regions, and it was a lot of like, it was like reminiscing with an old friend, you know, like, man, that was such a good time. I had so much fun in that league doing content that I wanted to do. And
if you want a really good league series, one that like it hit me right in the feels, go watch Angus's Trailblazer 2 videos. Ooh. Those videos, Angus, this shit was incredible, right? He released these videos like months after Trailblazer League ended. So when people said, "Have you seen Angus's new league video?" I'm like, "What do you mean new league video?" I think Scape told me, but he's like, "Dude, you gotta watch this video." And even like the opening scroll of like all of the streamers being hyped about leagues, like the actual footage of these people doing leagues, like, holy shit. No, I was there. I remember that. And then like just watching him do that months after the fact. Oh, it felt so good. Someday I should release my Leagues 2 finale, because I'll have all the footage still. I have the footage of my back-to-back Inquisitor drops and like the very last day. I have like some 99s and shit. Like I have all that footage from like 3 years ago. So maybe one day. Huge. But I think Leagues 2 is a good shout. Moving on from Leagues 2, what else do we think we're gonna see?
I mean, I have a guess, but I feel like I've yapped. So I want to hear what you think.
Yeah, I've also yapped.
That's true.
I'm torn. I'm torn because every Summer Summit we've gotten some sort of quest announcement, right? In the first Summer Summit, or every summit rather, we got Beneath Cursed Sands, we got Desert Treasure 2, we got Path of Gluffrey, and then we got While Gothic Sleeps. If we look at the trend of the last 3, it's been Majorat storyline. What I'm kind of questioning, they've been really leaning heavy into it. Do we think they're going to push Ritual of the Majorat out? Because what we need to think about, right, with these summit is the summits are about 6 months in advance. So if we get this in September, it's probably going to push out to like February or March of the upcoming content, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of need to think to ourselves, like, when would this come out? Like, do we expect Ritual of the Majorat, the grand master finale that brings all the storylines together, the quest that requires Desert Treasure 2 as a prereq? Do we think that'll be out in the next 6 months? Being on the heels of While Guffick Sleeps, do we think they will release the grand finale in a couple of months? That's my big question.
I don't think so. I
See,
don't.
I don't
I
think
think it's
so
too
either.
soon.
They're
I think it's
leaning
too
really
soon.
heavy into it, so it's not impossible that they put the effort in because they got a lot of steam for the Majrat storyline right now. So
Yeah.
maybe they want to tell the story to completion before moving on to other things. So I don't think it's impossible that we get Ritual of the Majorat or whatever the OSRS equivalent is going to be.
Yeah.
But you know me. You know what quest I want.
Vampires.
You know what quest I want, dude.
Lord of Imperium.
I want Lord of Imperium so goddamn bad,
Bro,
dude.
you've been
I
talking
have
about
been
Lord of
waiting for
Imperium.
It's been 4 years, dog.
Since we started this podcast, you have wanted Lord of Imperium.
Sins of the Father came out in June of 2020. I was about to get my quest cape, and then Sins of the Father came out, and I was like, oh, this quest looks kind of hard. It's going to put my quest cape off for sure. That is a memorable quest for me because you want to talk about getting beaten like a redheaded stepchild. I was not prepared for how hard Vanstrom Claws was going to be. Like, I'm still to this day convinced Vanstrom is like one of the hardest quest boss. Problem is, then Desert Treasure 2 came out, and then that kind of like, Vanstrom doesn't hold a candle to DT2, but like prior to Desert Treasure 2, Vanstrom he's a difficult boss.
Yeah.
And I loved that quest. Oh my god, I did that shit on stream. We read all the dialogue, we read all the stories. Like, it's just such a good quest on such a huge cliffhanger, right? Like, we kill Vanstrom, Saphilan is taken by Lavernial, good old Mr. Draken. Benescula is taken by good old Mr. Draken.
Oh yeah.
And the Marique are essentially disbanded. Like, they have pretty much left that quest line in the most hopeless way possible. The only person left in the Marique is that fucking kid. The like, I don't know what he is. 'Cause I've not done Lord of Imperium and RS3, but we are at like, they have left us at like, again, it's kind of like the Empire Strikes Back ending. It doesn't look good. Things are terrible. Our hands are off. One of the main characters is gone. We're with people that we're safe with, but we have more stuff to do. And it's been like 4 years, Chad.
It's time.
Please.
I think it would be that would be my hope. If they're going to release a quest, or they're going to announce a quest rather, let it finish some sort of vampire storyline, or at least progress it. Because they could go further. Like, they don't have to end it just because it ended it in RS3. If they don't do the vampire storyline, I think they'll either drop a Varlamore Grandmaster or like a Varlamore Master Quest, some sort of progression of the Varlamore line, or they'll do a Kingdom Divided sequel.
I was just about to say, while Ritual of the Majorat isn't impossible, and while I really want Lord of Imperium, I would not be upset if we got the Kingdom United or Kingdom Divided 2 or something quest from Varlamore. Because we know they're going to drop a bunch of quests with Varlamore, right? Like, they even said in the last summit in the winter in January, they said Varlamore Part 2 is coming with more quests. So hopefully those quests are coming soon. But if we look at the quests that came out with Varlamore, none of them were hard. It was Children of the Sun, At First Light, what's the Perilous
Twilight's
Moons
Promise.
quest, Twilight's Promise, which is the quest when you first got there, and then the best quest in the game, the Riveting Tale of a Lilypad Labor Dispute,
which I have not done, and I'm very excited for.
You've not done that quest?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dog, it's a heater. I love that quest. Make sure you read the dialogue. Just make sure you read every piece of dialogue and interact with lots of stuff in that quest. It's a good time. But yeah, so we know we're probably going to get like 4 or 5, probably like mid-level quests, unless they up the ante, because now it's like, hey, you've done all these prereqs. Here are bigger quests. Yeah. But I think the one we're all waiting for is the follow-up to AKD. Um,
Because
so
that's another major cliffhanger that's been a long time coming.
honestly,
Spoiler alert for Kingdom Divided. It's been a while. You should know already, but skip ahead like 20 seconds. Who kills a king and then just vanishes and we don't get anything? Like he's dead. And it's probably his wife. I'm making that call right now. But we can't talk about it now because everybody's back who doesn't want to be spoiled. It needs to be finished. It needs to be finished.
I think it could be so,
or at least progressed.
Our top 3, the new quests we're getting, the top 3 are in no particular order: Ritual of the Majorat, Lord of Vampirium, and A Kingdom United. That's what we're calling that quest, A Kingdom United.
I did tell Mod Rice that would be a fire name.
You have said that, and that is a pretty fire name. I'm not gonna lie. So I think we're gonna get one of those 3. Yeah. Unless they do something like off the wall,
like Fossil Island 2 or something,
Dragon Slayer 3 or some shit like that. Because you didn't know about that cutscene.
I didn't.
So at the end of you did not know about that extra little cutscene. I got
chills,
it after While Gothic Sleeps because I had already done DS2 on the main, but you did it in the reverse order. So we could get that, though. They literally say the humans have the stone, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be Ritual of the Majorat. Which, Jesus Christ, dude, we got the Majorat and we got the Dragonkin going through this. That quest is going to be insane. I'm sorry.
Tired of saving the world, Grandpa.
It's too damn bad. That quest is going to be insane. So I won't be upset if it is that quest, though. I think that quest is too big in scale to release right now. It's kind of like how after Infinity War, we all knew something was coming, but we didn't know what. So they had to release but in the interim between Infinity War and Endgame, they released like Ant-Man and Captain Marvel and smaller movies, not like smaller movies, but not the one we wanted.
We got to the precipice and then we kind of came down a little bit. We got back up. It's about the hills and the valleys.
Kind of what I'm thinking they're gonna do release wise with Ritual of the Majorat. So we got our quests, we got our league.
Those are the guarantees, at least.
I would think. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Sailing.
That's where my head was going next. I'm like, either we're gonna get a gameplay demo or we're gonna get a beta release date.
We could get an alpha test of Sailing. Or maybe a beta for March or April of 24. I think that could also work.
Because whenever Sailing was announced, which was December of 2022, so late 2022, early 2023.
Though they began the process in that time frame, yeah.
Oh, true. We all said surely 2025. 2025 at least. If it goes past 2025, I'll be very surprised as far as a new skill is concerned. Because sure, they didn't have any sort of nothing was developed before they said, hey, Old School's getting a new skill. Because obviously they had to pull it and then they had to figure out because I think whenever that was going on, all of the suggestions were player suggestions, were they not? And then they voted, or am I remembering that wrong?
No, they were mostly. I think they came up with them, but they were based off of some player suggestions. So
gotcha. Yeah. So they had to. It was very, very from the ground up. They had nothing pre-planned, so it makes sense that it's going to take a while, but surely not past 2025.
At least to get some gameplay going. Honestly, They're taking their sweet time, which is probably a good thing. But dog, we want to see something at this point, That would preferably be. Honestly, me too.
Second
Jesus
skill comes
Christ.
out.
This is kind of what we're hoping for here. I think it's got to be a gameplay alpha. I think they have to not just show us the gameplay. I think they have to let us play with it.
Get in there on a ship.
Even if it's just the super early stages of stuff, they gotta get us in there. I don't mean to be whatever. I don't mean to. Tony Stark built this in a cave, but Y'all release new skills like every 18 months back in the day.
Yeah.
We got farming and hunter and summoning and dungeoneering and all this all this other random shit, like pretty back to back to back, right?
Mhm.
Like we got construction, farming, and hunter
In
right
2006?
2006, 2007, like all around that
Yeah.
time period. Like our backup is a couple months before summoning part 1 or something like
Can
that.
you
Maybe like a year at
imagine
most. Like how much
if
different this
summoning
game
was
would
in the
be.
game? Be
Like
crazy.
don't get me wrong, like we understand the ramifications of a skill being janky, right? Because
Mhm.
like it took them 20 years to get hunter right in our game because hunter is stupid. There's bait that doesn't do anything. There's armor that doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter where you are in regards to the traps. Like hunter, from what they designed, doesn't make sense, and it also plays like shit, as we saw with Deadfalls. Right? Like once we pull back the curtain and kind of scrutinize the skill a bit, like we did when the Hunters Guild came out, we realized, wow, we had a lot of work to do with this skill. And I think the concern is we're going to be scrutinizing the dog shit out of sailing because a lot of people don't want it. A lot of people are very upset that it was not shamanism. Thank God it wasn't shamanism. But I digress. I think I get they want to make it basically perfect. I don't want to say check your expectations, but like
I would be very surprised if it was perfect. I think that's where my expectation is. Like, I know it's going to have flaws, and I know that they're going to have several rounds of quality of life because you can't think of everything. Even though they're taking their sweet time, they're one group of people with like limited brain power. But when you open it up to the hundreds of thousands of players, it's a different monster. It's a different beast of QA.
and like it's going to break. We all know that. It's like there will be a period of like a lot of adjustments and sailing rebalances coming out. I think we just have to rip the band-aid off. You know, I think we have to rip the band-aid off. We have to get the
Just get it in the
players
game.
on the ship.
Yeah.
Not even like just roll it out tomorrow, but like get the players on the ship. Let us around on the boat. Give us, like, hey, here's an XP lamp for playing sailing for an hour. Here's, oh my God, it's 13,034,000 experience. That's crazy. Now you can do everything. Like, here's a big ass boat. Go drive to Zaya from Port Saar. Like, see how it feels. Like we have got to do something because I think people are losing faith and getting more and more pissed off because if it were shamanism, you wouldn't have to rework the pathing, right? If it were shamanism, you wouldn't have to do all this other stuff. It would just be go to the spirit world and play Iron Man.
I think if it was shamanism, we'd have it. We would have had.
I don't think they would have. We probably would have had something to touch on, yeah, but I don't think we would have had like the skill in the game.
But you're right, they have to rebuild core mechanics from the ground up.
Which again, for the long-term health of this game, probably a good thing. But we need something for sailing, dude. And it can't just be here's what I won't allow. Hey guys, we're still working on sailing and we want to make sure sailing's in a great spot. So we're still in the first phase of our 9-phase program because while we know you guys want to see something, we really want to get this right. If that is what we get from them, people are going to lose their fucking minds.
It's going to be bad.
If we get because they did a sailing update not long ago where they pretty much said, you guys can get fucked. We have nothing to show you. May 15th, 2024.
That's
progress.
Recent.
Yep. Here we go. This is official news post from the thing. Navigation. We're in phase 1 of or phase 2 of 4 phases. And we're just literally we're in the navigation alpha of the milestones. We're at stage 1 of 9. I know that was a joke. I didn't realize it was real. Like,
oh no.
Like that's the thing. We're just Jesus Christ, you guys. Like, don't drop a blog after 6 months and say, hey, I know it like doesn't look like we've made a lot of progress, but look at all this stuff. Like we need to be on the goddamn boat. Stop showing us hypotheticals. We need to be on the goddamn boat.
Yeah. Otis says if they're not even halfway to beta, just scrap it. I don't know that I would agree. Like I think we're past the point of like just scrapping it. But if they're not even halfway to beta, we need to scrap some things and get us on the boat, like you said. I don't know. I'm not a game developer, so I don't know what is going on behind the scenes, and it's really easy for us sitting in our chairs, not not involved in the process whatsoever. But I'm really hoping for some good news that's not, like here's another
Here's
video
another.
clip
Yeah,
of a boat.
we got Poison Potion to narrate a video of something that you still can't do. Like Jesus Christ, that's my big thing. Like I get it. I don't think they're sitting there, dicks in their hands, not doing anything. I really think this is a difficult process for them to do. I get that. I respect that they're putting the time in to make this skill the best it can possibly be for us. Something's due Monday. We have to get something.
Yeah.
And if it really can't be, you better give us a goddamn good reason why it can't be player run or can't be player tested. Or you need to assemble the Avengers of the RuneScape content creators. Get everybody in that bitch to test it out if you don't want to send it out to people, so we can get videos and streams and content and conversations going within the community about what sailing is like so far.
Yeah.
If it's a roadmap, people are going to lose their minds. I'm going to lose my mind because come on, man.
Yeah. Jagex knows. They have to know
They've got
that it's going to make them money. Like this is a very profitable venture. But I'm not saying it's going to completely tank, like they're going to lose people, but like they are incentivized to get it out sooner than later because it's going to be very profitable.
I agree. Chaos Cleric says if sailing bombs will never see a new skill, they have to get this right. That is correct. I think it's also correct that you can't tell someone, hey, I'm going to do something really, really cool for you. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. And then only ever talk about how great it's going to be when they finally do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
At some point,
like politicians.
At some point, people want to see something with sailing. I don't think the skill needs to release into the game in January of 25. We need the open alpha they talk about. We need the open beta. We need the closed alpha. If they won't let us do it, we need the closed alpha to be thoroughly vetted by gigantic content creators. Settled, Solo Mission, Framed, Jimmy, Zulu. People who can get the word out. Bodhi, for God's sakes, Wooks. People who can get the word out to
Oxie
hundreds of thousands of players. That'd be fucking sick. But they'd probably make us do it in their HQ, which they won't fly us out for, I'm pretty sure. But like, we need.
I'll fly out.
we could fly. We could fly out. But like, anyways, we need something to sink our teeth into, other than a roadmap and some theoretical island designs. Like, I don't mean to be a bitch about it, and I think you and I have not been bitches about it.
No,
but
been very reasonable.
We're getting real close, you guys. We're getting real close to just saying, like, we've got the sailing development structure. It's been a year. That's my thoughts on sailing.
Sailing aside, I think there's going to be some smaller things, smaller content pieces, because they always do that.
Yeah.
You know,
some
like
little
the last one we had,
there.
Little ditties, if you will. Two that I think could be really, really neat is a major overhaul to the clan system, because they kind of sprinkled a little update for us. They gave us more ranks, but a major overhaul to the clan system, because since 2021, it's been the same. Nothing has changed except for those little sprinkled ranks. Or we get a major overhaul to the collection log system, and they finally, whatever that game jam thing where you have different tiers and items and things that you can do, and they have a collection log high score. I think one of those two things could happen. as an announcement, because those are the biggest like interactive things with, besides quests and diaries. Those are the two biggest things you interact with in the game: the clan and the collection log.
You mentioned
Mima says, "Give me the book."
You know what? You mentioned diary. With Varlamore Part 2, they could release a Varlamore Achievement Diary.
Ooh.
Varlamore Achievement Diary could go pretty hard. That'd be pretty cool. Varlamore Diary.
Then, Twisted League 2, we have 2 diaries to complete.
That's true. We could do the double diary. That is true.
What item would you get, though? That's the question. A new banner. I want a new banner.
No.
I'm just kidding. A new offhand would be kind of cool.
Oh, could be an offhand. What's the current offhand? The Falador Shield?
Mm-hmm.
We could do a little like a buckler or something.
Mm-hmm.
The Varlamore buckler or something. That'd be pretty cool. So they would do that. That could be cool. I think if they rework the collection log, it'll be mostly like an interface thing with like that like kind of high scores that they talked about. Like I don't see why they wouldn't push that out to give people goals to like incentivize their collection log. Otis says clan citadels. Absolutely not. I hope they don't do clan citadels. So
clan hall update.
Clan Hall update would be cool. Clan Citadel would not be cool. So for those of y'all that don't know, I don't know this very well because I've not interacted with the Citadel in a very long time. In RS3, you have to get a resource cap, and several players in the clan need to go and cap the Citadel. Like every day or every week, people need to do it. And if you don't do that, the Citadel gave you boosts for being a clan, like XP boosts and bonus XP and shit like that. And if you didn't do that, you didn't get any of the boosts. So everybody was missing out because you didn't cap. And holy shit, did it feel bad.
Yeah.
Like it is Dailyscape and in its worst possible form, because it's Dailyscape that negatively impacts the rest of your clan if you don't do it. Like most of the Dailyscape is pretty neutral. If you do it, you get a benefit. If you don't do it, you don't lose anything. Because like if you don't do your birdhouses, if you don't do your herb runs, if you don't get your battle staves, you don't gain anything, but you also don't lose anything. The Citadel system from RS3 actively impairs you and the rest of your clan if you don't do your dailies. Absolutely not the Citadel. The Clan Hall restructure, not even restructured. God, see, I'm in the restructure brain. Clan Hall expansion could be fun.
I want a swimming pool.
That could be pretty sick. I think clan system, our characters can swim.
Clan Hall teleport? Cleric, you hit the nail on the head there.
Can we not teleport with the Vexillium?
Varrock. You go to Varrock. You go to Exchange.
Seriously, is there not a teleport on the Cape or Vexillium?
I don't think there is,
because that's dumber than shit. We should have that teleport. That absolutely should be the teleport there.
Let Deval use my Varrock medium. Free.
Doesn't though, because it's further away from the bank. So Otis says he'll like the teamwork and the upgrading aspect of the Citadel. I think that bit is fun, but when you weren't working as a team, it hurt everybody else. I think you could have, because we talked about it in like recent episodes even, of like the clan could contribute items or gold or resources and upgrade the Citadel without having it to be like the Citadel, the hall, without having it be a daily chore. You know, like if people... Osmumpton's fangs are 10 mil a piece, you know? Literally, they're free for all. I free for all. The Ra's got a fang. Michael's shaking his head like I'm such an elitist prick. It was a 7-man 405. And he's like, you didn't take the 11 mil split? I'm like, Michael, it would have been like 1.4 mil a person. No, I'm not doing that. But like, again, we want to talk like a desert theme. Get light bearers, get wards, get fangs in there, and then you get a desert theme for your POH or your clan hall or whatever it's called. I think that would be nice. That'd be cool. And what I also think would be cool as a clan, like as someone who runs one of these clans, we need more functionality to see when members have been online last. We need more ability for people to like Like, when was the last time they were online beyond the admin rank? We want to know when they were there. Is there a way we could expand it and kind of take some of that wise old man functionality? How much XP have they gained in the last month or whatever?
That's all like built in. Where does Wise Old Man get it? They get it from Jagex.
They get it from the high score, so they could show us that.
Should. I want guests to be able to see drops. There's no reason why any of these like collection log and it should not be behind a wall of membership. And if it is, they should give people the choice to say guests can see this or guests cannot see this.
Yeah. Otis says, give us some team skilling in the clan hall. I don't think that is a terrible idea. I don't think sticking some maple trees or yew trees or some coal rocks or something in the clan hall to give people reason to go there. I don't think that's a bad choice. It's the requirement to do it. That's what I'm absolutely against. Another thing I think they could add, because I did chat with Elena about this on Twitter a little bit. Mod Elena is making like a bingo thing.
Oh yeah.
So they could release like the in-game clan event function to have like a simple bingo event, which would help our new event planners a ton when making some fun stuff. So yeah, I think we'll probably see something like that. We'll probably see some UI overhauls. I really hope they make it so, you know how with like they made it so you can continue activities while you have the skill menu open. We need that for every menu in the game. We need to be able to continue doing activities when we have the achievement diary or the combat diary or the collection log or the quest list, or you need any menu that pops up on your screen should not interrupt a skilling action at this point. We need that to happen. Because it's not super like, oh, well, if it interrupts combat. No, you're not going to interface stall in combat. I think that's the issue, is people use interface stalling, so maybe that's why they don't want to take it away. Maybe leave it for quests or something. Open a quest journal and you can interface stall with a quest journal, with a completed quest or whatever.
Something.
But like, I want to look at my CAs. I want to look at my collection log. Especially if I'm bored as shit doing like rune crafting or redwood logs. Like, I want to do that, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense, right? You have one menu that gives the option. I know it was like a game jam thing that somebody did. It wasn't even like an official, this is what we're going to do. They just had a project and they did it. So expand the project. Give us it all. And you're right. Like, there should be some sort of menu that you can still stall with, because like, why take that away if it doesn't need to be taken away?
Speaking of being able to do stuff while skilling, in the last several of these blogs, they've released some sort of skilling update. And I'm going to make a bold claim and say Scurious was the skilling update for the last one, because Scurious is a combat XP thing. So we had Scurious, we had Forestry, we had Forestry again. And then we had the new skill, right? We had, when did they announce? So it was Forestry, Scurious, 24th skill. And then the first one, they didn't really announce anything. That first Summer Summit was a heater, though.
Yeah.
That first Summer Summit went insane.
Lots of stuff.
It was Dead Man Reborn, which like nobody cared about. It was Dead Man Reborn, Group Iron Man mode, Shattered Relics League, and then Raids 4. That Summer Summit went so insanely hard in 2021. That's the energy they need to bring back, right? Like, I guess even the Winter Summit of 22 was pretty cool too. Winter Summit 22 went pretty hard because it was Secrets of the North, official account builds, Bounty Hunter, Forestry, Desert Treasure 2, and then Sailing. I'm mainly just disappointed with this roadmap, this last one. Remember they talked about Dead Man for way too goddamn long.
They did.
They talked about Dead Man
just kept
and
going.
The wilderness out there. They wouldn't shut the hell up. And they're like, Varlamore is coming. and more Varlamore. We're like, oh my god, you're not giving us any new information. And then by the time they gave us Well Gothic Sleeps, it was like, we all knew Well Gothic Sleeps was coming. You asked us about it. What's next? It's like, I'm really hoping this one is absolutely fire upcoming. Skilling. Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to present us. This can be a bold claim.
We like bold.
They're going to present us with a smithing rework idea.
Smithing and mining? Because
Possibly.
they did forestry and they did, what was the other one? I think forestry kind of set us into a path of like what could be when it comes to gathering skills. So if they did a mining and smithing rework, like just like they did in RS3, but not the same, obviously. But those two kind of go in tandem.
They do kind of go in tandem. The only thing I'd be concerned about with those two is how do we justify the changes in level required to do that?
I don't know.
You know, that's, I think, the tricky part, because I think.
Yeah.
So the unfortunate part about a smithing, now that I even think about it, the unfortunate part about a smithing rework, right? A smithing rework drops, in theory, the number or the level requirement for items, right? We can only smith up to rune, unless they add orichalcum ore to make dragon items in smithing. That still only covers us to maybe like maybe 70 smithing with dragon items right now, if they did like the full dragon everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not including the pieces you need to, like, you know, like the plate body and shit like that, you know?
Like if you could smith
dragon legs,
scimitar.
dragon legs, dragon medhelm, dragon scimitar,
Mhm.
covers us to 70, 75 smithing. What happens to the high alch value of all those items?
I don't know that I would be super concerned,
I would be.
because I think what I would imagine would happen would be that dragon items take over as the alchables, and they would have to kind of shift drop tables a little bit. Like, you know, if you had, they would just move everything up a peg. So like if you got a lot of rune items as alchables, then they would be dragon items, and then if you got a lot of addy items,
So you're
before,
saying
it
they would
be
adjust the alchemy values to a step below what they are right now? So rune
Probably.
items would alch for 9k and dragon items would alch for 30k?
something
I
like
think
that.
that would destabilize shit, dude.
Well, yeah,
It'd be
I mean,
shit would be in
it would
shambles,
shift
because
the
then because the
economy.
thing is, what replaces the dragon items? That's the tricky part, right? Is like even the highest level bosses drop dragon items as rewards. You get dragon items from Coliseum, you get dragon items from the Desert Treasure 2 bosses. Like what? How do you, I guess that's the problem. How do you
Mhm.
fill the void of rune items? Alch value is lowered, so rune items are essentially garbage. Dragon items were lowered to the point where rune items are, and now we have this vacuum of either you get dog shit or you get the unique, which means the uniques will probably skyrocket in price or plummet, because it's either going to do one of two things, right? It's either going to be, Bodhi mentioned it years ago. If the blowpipe was the only thing on Zulra's drop table, the blowpipe would be 600 mil. Right? But because for Zulra used to make you money, kind of still does, it's dropped in price. It's very accessible. It's also botted, blah, 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 right? But like, if now there's no incentive to kill these bosses because everything is super cheap on the high alch table, like, does Hydra even make you that much money anymore?
It would be a pretty big disruption initially, but I think, yeah, they would figure it out. They hired a damn economist at some point to like look at the economy and figure out what we would need. They probably could do the same, you know? They could find a group, a think tank of economists to how do we do this without too much market disruption, and then go with it, you know?
But it's even more like market disruption, right? To me, it feels like if you rework smithing, right, and you made it so that like making rune items wasn't terrible, you know, and you actually make rune items at a normal price, and you had to adjust the alchemy value because of that, it's a whole like perception shift. Because now, like, if we look at the
Yeah.
high scores, every boss that drops rune items as a filler moneymaker are now not even worth doing. And all the items or all the bosses that drop dragon items are now just okay. Like, the wilderness loses money.
Well, they
God
could do
Wars
higher
loses money.
quantities without much disruption. Like if you got one med helm as a drop, they could give you 10 noted as a drop, and it wouldn't, like, it would come out to the same price.
But like, does that still feel rewarding? Like, oh boy, 10 medium helmets, yay! Like, that doesn't.
Money's money, I guess. At the end of the day,
I
the same
get it.
value, but
I get it, Mr.
more.
Iron Man. Money's money, but if we change the perception to the player base of PVM is not worth it anymore because they have taken away all of the valuable drops, people are just, the game is going to flutter and we're going to have a problem. Because even if it's not strictly accurate, right? If people say, well, they changed the smithing system and now old school's rewards are just not worth it because none of the bosses have any inherent value in killing anymore. You don't make any money unless you get a unique. It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be bad. That's gonna be bad. So now even thinking about it, a smithing rework wouldn't be good. What's a skill that could utilize something new though? Could it be farming?
Farming could be fun.
The most recent thing we got, I think, was the farming guild.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, like plant, seed, get crop. Like, what more could you want?
Could it be
farming boss?
I don't know how it works in RuneScape 3, but as someone who loves a good upgrade progression, could we get the player-owned farm?
Ooh.
No, I don't know. All of my people who have played or currently play RS3, I don't know how the player-owned farm works particularly well. But could we, in theory, get something we could check on, almost like Miscellanea-esque, where we could have a player-owned farm that we could grow produce and crops and trees, and we could produce animal products and things like that. Maybe it would help us. Maybe it would be a moneymaker. Maybe it would be an XP farm. Whatever it is, I think player-owned farm could be, because like looking at all these other things, right? Like fletching and crafting haven't really seen an update in a while. Cooking really hasn't seen an update in a while. You know, with mining,
we're gonna get an Herblore update.
We're gonna get an Herblore update. We have the Halsepulcher. We have the Giants Foundry. They reworked a bunch of shit about mining. Guardians of the Rift, Mahogany Homes, Hunter, whatever. Constantly new Slayer bosses, Forestry, Wintertod. That really leaves like fletching, crafting, cooking, and farming. Because thieving, you got Varlamore thieving as well. Fishing, you got Temporos. Like, what, you know, that's my question.
You could be onto something. A new minigame boss for a skill. Like a woodcutting boss or something. But that would be so much focus on woodcutting. I'd kind of be annoyed if they did a woodcutting boss.
Yeah. I mean, like, do you think they would do the artisan stuff? Do you think they would do, like, I know they talked about like artisan contracts. Do you think that's something they would do? I think that'd be kind of,
that would be cool.
Boring.
Well,
like, buy materials off the GE and make me 100 battle staves. Like,
well, they would have to do it in such a way that you get, like how they did with hunter contracts, where you're looking for like an enhanced magic longbow or something, where you can only get this with items that were found by you. Because the idea is gathering. It's not going the GE.
The idea is production, not gathering.
With
artisan's not gathering. Artisan is production. Artisan is crafting, fletching, smithing, rune crafting, cooking. Like, those are your production artisan skills. I think that's the tough part of like an artisan contract system, like what that could look like, because I think it leads to a really boring gameplay loop.
Yeah.
And if you're like I don't think it's terrible, like, oh, gather the materials yourselves, right? Until you get like, craft me 25 sapphire necklaces. What's the best way to kill Goroks? How else do you get gems consistently? You know, like,
yeah,
that's the tough part about that.
It would be like shooting stars for gem bags or something.
Maybe, okay, hear me out. Stupid
Uh-oh.
idea. Dumb ideas only, right? We expand on the Nazi zombies Cassandre thing that we did in Desert Treasure 2, and we use crafting and fletching to create barriers and create ammunition, and we use cooking to create rations for people who are fighting off the Stranglewood on the Varlamore-Zaya border.
Mhm.
And we jump in as a team, and once everything is fortified, the Shazian army drops a nuke, and then that's the end of the game. You know,
Castle
or
Wars 2.
they're able to like clear it out. No, but like seriously, like if we think about it, like how does Guardians of the Rift work? Enemies come in, we build barriers, we charge the Guardian, and then we're able to, you know, do this kind of thing. How does are they able to kill it with the Guardian's beam? How does something like Fishing Trawler works? It's on a timer. You need to repair things, and then you get good contribution, and the game's over. If we combine those systems together, where we have the Stranglewood zombies coming at you, and the Shazian soldiers are trying to build the barriers. If you're gathering materials from like special types of trees or whatever to then craft into like planks or craft into weapons to give to them to reinforce the barriers, if you're fletching ammunition for them, because like, let's say you mine a special kind of tree, you fletch it into an arrow shaft, you chop a special tree, arrow shaft, mine a special kind of rock, turn it into like a flaming sword rock or something. Arrow words. I don't know why I'm having a stroke right now. I'm sorry. But like then they use these arrows in theory to like burn through the Stranglewood. So you get fletching XP, you get crafting XP, and then at the end of the game you can choose between crafting, fletching, cooking, or rewards. Or maybe you'll like, you know, we have a lot of rations, but they're all raw, so you have to like cook all the rations for the soldiers to heal them on the borders or something like that. You know, don't make it combat focused. Make it artisan focused.
Skilling focus. Oh, I see where your head's at.
That's kind of what I'm like. Nazi zombies, but you're just repairing the barriers the whole time. You're not killing any zombies. You don't need max ammo. And then I don't know, maybe the whole thing is on a timer because like, hey, we need 5 minutes to get our trebuchets up and running. And once the trebuchets are up, we won't need the barriers anymore. Yeah. Right? And then after 5 minutes, oh, the trebuchets are up. Game over. Congratulations. Here's 5K crafting XP. They'll be back, and the trebuchets can only fire once every 5 minutes. So take a minute break, and then another game starts, kind of thing.
Yeah. Going off of the task system, you could essentially have like a captain that you're reporting to, and that's the person that's giving you the task. So your task initially is like you spawn in. Everybody goes to their general, and they're like, you make arrows, you cook the rations, you do this. And then once you finish your task and you turned in your supplies, then they're like, okay, now go man the battlements, and you fire the ballistae. And instead of it just being like a free-for-all rush to do the best thing, you have to kind of like go to different stations.
Kind of like if you have like a commander shouting out like reinforce that barrier.
Yeah.
We need more ammunition. We need more rations.
Yeah,
that could work.
And that's where you get the task from versus like.
But not like, but it's not like but it's not like an artisan slayer task, right? It's like
no,
kind of like how in Temporos when they say like, oh shit, fix the mast, or when Prospector Percy is like, yo, fix that dang wheel, like. It's more akin to that than it is like do this actual thing. It's more shouting out what needs to get done by the player base. That could be fun for a skilling thing. I am gonna leave after our conversation just now. I'm gonna let Jesus take the wheel, and by Jesus I mean JMods, because I have a smithing rework could fundamentally destroy the player base's logic on PVM. I don't know how you make buyable skills into mini games. Other than that, and I don't know what else could be added that doesn't invalidate other activities that were released within the last couple of years.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Release an agility activity better than Hallowed Sepulchre? No one's going to go to Hallowed Sepulchre. Iron Men will for their Rings of Endurance, that's it. But then it will be a chore. It won't even be like a benefit. It'll just be a chore, you know? Mahogany Homes, obviously it's not better, but what are you going to do? Release another construction minigame that's better than Mahogany Homes but worse than Mahogany Tables? Like, what's the point? You know?
I mean, they just made They just made construction the best it's ever been. I'd be
Yeah,
very
like-
surprised if they did an update for that.
And I know everyone's thinking like, oh, Slayer. Araxor comes out in like 2 weeks. Araxor comes out next week. Holy shit. When this episode
Yeah.
comes out, Araxor comes out next week, which Michael and I have not touched on at all. We sort of said there's a new spider boss coming. I think we talked about the rewards a while ago, and then we genuinely did not talk about that at all. But I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Super excited about Araxor, but
do we think we're gonna get another like dumbass Deadman mode announcement? Surely not.
Surely
right?
not.
Surely we don't
That's
get
winter.
Deadman just ended. Surely we don't get words on another Deadman mode. We might get like a Deadman mode review. Keep it, Jagex. Look me in the eyes. I beg you. Keep it to 5 minutes. Keep it to 5 minutes. We all love Mod Manked. Keep it to 5 minutes. Last time's Wilderness PvP Deadman mode segment was so long. I beg you to not talk about it for that long. 5 minutes, Deadman Armageddon went really well. We like the point system. We like the reward system. Hope you guys enjoy your Black Void Wakers. Anyways, here's what's next. Oh my God, please keep it brief. Oh, one more thing. Otis says Oxie's going to plan another date after this summit. Listen, if you know anyone who's trying to go on a date after this summit, if you know anyone who's trying to like watch the Lions playoff game, when the Lions I don't even think are like really running they're in the preseason right now, but like if you know someone who wants to like put pressure on to watch a Lions game, Cass Cleric put his hand up, hey, what's up, brother? And like come over, then yeah, sure, I can do that. But this time I don't think I'll have any hot dates going on after the summit.
It's a shame.
Truly. What was I going to say?
Mobile?
Me, man. Mobile. That wasn't what I was going to say at all. But they are going to talk about mobile, aren't they? Surely they talk about mobile, right?
I mean, it's the biggest UI update.
I beg you, if you talk about mobile, do not get into the weeds with the tech shit.
No.
Remember the last time they talked about what one was it? What summit was it? Was it the last summit where they talked about?
Might have been. Hold on, I'm going back.
I don't even see it, but you know it happened when they talked about like, was it during the official account builds bit of the summer of winter 22?
Maybe.
When they talked about the like, oh, we're redoing the graphics and all this other crazy shit. Like, please do not keep that. Like, keep that as brief as possible. Because when you get into the weeds about the code and the servers, like nobody cares. People don't understand it. It's not that people like totally don't care, but oh my God, please.
You're talking to the wrong audience, I think.
You're really talking
that's
to
like
the
that's like a modcast, not the summer summit, you know?
Show off a mobile and give us a date and say, hey, here's the day the mobile UI change is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what you need for mobile. And as far as like
a beta announcement of some
they
sort.
haven't done a beta?
No, they haven't done a live beta.
Dog.
So that's what I'm hoping to see.
Then hopefully that's what we get.
Yeah. Some sort of announcement of like, hey guys, sign up for the mobile beta or open beta. An open beta would be sick. They did a beta for the UI. There was a beta world where you could like mark tiles and stuff like that, and you could see the different chat box and like your little stones where they were. So a release date for that would be nice, but the different HD and the plugins for this, like for the official client, that would be an update on that would be kind of nice.
Yeah, I think they have to do some sort of client update, like or tell us the summit's gonna be like 2.5 hours long, because I'm concerned the summit's gonna be like an hour, right? Like if just tell us the summit's gonna be 2.5 hours long, you can talk about the shit all you want, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm definitely hoping for some update for mobile or HD or something. Give us words. That's not what I was gonna say.
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
So in the last summer summit, they made a whole thing on Chambers of Xeric changes. They released this whole bit about how they are changing the scaling of Chambers of Xeric and how they're making like the rooms function, things like that. All these changes for Chambers of Xeric. Over under we get a TOA changes blog.
New invocations, please. Because what it was like, the new raid was 3 years ago. It'd be kind of nice for them to address the lack of attention to arguably one of the most accessible raids in the game. We need new invocations.
I think they've made, now that I think about it, they have made a lot of good changes. Like they made Monkey Room tolerable.
That's true.
It's like they
did
have
quality of
made
life it.
they have made it better over the years. It's taken them a really long time. Do we think we will see a TOA changes in the name of drop rates like we've talked about? They will actually touch on the like no shadows below 300s business.
Would that be received well though?
Who by?
Because is it too late to? Is it like?
Yeah,
it's like too far, too gone, too little, too late. That's what I'm trying to say.
Elitist brain said by who? The mid game community. They can't get the $1.2 billion weapon on their base 70s account. That sucks. But you are right. It probably is too little, too late.
Because anytime they've done something with a raid, it's never been to address the drop rates.
Broke 70 said no insanity, no shadow. I actually kind of like that.
So like you could do an entry mode with insanity as the only invocation.
No, you have to turn it'd be like a 100 level because you have to turn all the other wardens invocations on to get insanity. But well, you don't need to turn penetration on, thankfully, but still, like you have to have ancient haste and acceleration. I think that would too
kind of be
overclocked, or whatever it is. I get, but I get the
of what they want to do.
But I get the concept, right? But it wouldn't like when at a 100 level TOA, you have like a 0.4% chance to see a purple. And then in that 0.4%, you have to roll a 1 in 24 when everything else is like a 12 out of 24, right? Like it's a hard thing to get a shadow in an expert mode or an entry mode. But I think the logic that barring some of these items behind invocations or invocation levels is important because they've done it with like the kits and shit and the mogs, but I don't know. I think it could be maybe something to look into for TOA. I don't think TOA needs as much work as Chambers did. But I think at this point, it's accessible, but you can't deny the prices of everything in TOAs are just in the bin. The raid is, it's not even that it was too accessible, it's that everything is now too common. And it became too cheap. With the Ancestral set being 400 mil, the Torva set being 800 mil, and the Missouri set being like 90 mil for best in slot unfortified, like something just doesn't seem right there, you know? I don't know how they will rework it. Even if they just move the Fang and Ward, but I don't even think that's not a Summer Summit topic. That's a Project Rebalance topic, if anything. Maybe they touch on Project Rebalance more. So yeah, maybe they won't do a TOA redo because I think if they add new invocations, then you essentially have to add a Missouri recolor or a Tebow recolor or a Shadow recolor or something.
Well, I just mean more so like spice it up. You know, we've had the same meta of these are the invocations you do for this level. It's been 3 years and they have the perfect system to spice up this raid. I was even talking in VC with folks where like you could have seasonal invocations where every so often certain invocations go away and then you bring some back just to keep it interesting. It's the perfect system for that.
I'm going to give you two statements that are both elitist as fuck. Number one, only thing that would do is help raise the price of uniques because when the shitty invocations roll around, no one would do TOA. Number two, the only meta that shakes up is the low level TOA meta of mixing up invocations. But what it does is it damages the Fang kit runs. It damages the 540s because now instead of having a challenge on your hands, you could do Jungle Japes times 5 or whatever other random bullshit invocations they add, and you don't have to turn dehydration on. You don't have to worry about that. You can just take brews and ambrosias and it becomes a lot easier. If you add new invocations, you make a lot of the stuff easier to do at the higher levels. Unless all of the invocations are go yourself invocations. They are the only thing it changes is the low level TOA meta. High level, it just makes it easier and not as fun. And then you also push it to like, all right, now the invocation cap is a 700. What the does a 700 invocation TOA look like? This isn't leagues or deadman mode where you can push it to 1500 invocation just to see what happens without anything really changing.
Mm-hmm.
Adding another 200 points worth of invocations to a raid that the end game community already can't stand with these invocations. Like, I don't know how you do that in a way that like yes, the lower mid game TOA, it will make it a lot more diverse and a lot more fun. You could present yourself with a lot more challenge. When you are on your 600, 700 runs for a 70% chance at a purple and a Shadow of Tumekin ornament kit, you are going to hate yourself. You already hate yourself in a 500. You're going to hate yourself in a 700. That's my issue with new invocations. And seasonal invocations, save it for seasonal events, dog. Don't put it in the main game.
I don't know. It's a unique way to handle a raid because Chambers doesn't change unless you get a specific room layout.
Top never changes. Chambers is inherently changing all the time. The only way Chambers doesn't change is if you do a CM.
I mean the room order. You can scout for the perfect room. I'm just saying.
But
you can have the raid how you want it.
You can essentially pick the rooms you want, but you can't pick all the rooms. You can choose Mutadile Tecton. You don't get to choose what order they're in, and then you don't get to choose the other rooms that you get to. You can get Mutadile Tecton, Vasa, Vanguard, Guardian, and then it's like, well, okay, time to find another one, you know?
Yeah.
Or you can do a CM, and it's the same every time. So I think Chambers is one of the more diverse raids, comparatively, just because it's never quite the same raid twice in a regular, you know?
Yeah. Some sort of raid. They're going to touch on a raid. That's for sure. And then Otis just said probably they're going to waste our time with some holiday event teaser. Sure. Because they did it last time. They did it
5 minutes.
Actually, no, they did it last Summer Summit. They talked about the Halloween and the Christmas event. It probably won't be a super big waste of time. But
that's fine. As long as it's quick.
Just make it quick.
That's my thing. Just make it quick.
And I think that's probably everything, right?
So what have we gone over that is of substance that people can look back on and say, oh shit, Michael and Oxie predict that. Let's see. We've got Leagues 5, Trailblazer 2. Not Trailblazer
Twisted League
2. Twisted League 2. We have a new Grandmaster quest, which could be Ritual of the Majorat, Lord of Vampirium, or Kingdom United. We have an update on sailing where we have pretty much put the knife to the throat and said, give us gameplay or give the big streamers gameplay so we can at least see what this shit looks like. Please do not give us, God love him, I don't want to see Poison Potion or that other guy doing a voiceover of, I don't want it. I just want someone to let me do the thing. We need something physical for sailing to come out. What else did we talk about? We talked about
some sort of skill rework.
Some sort of skill, maybe not even rework, but skill addition, though it could be kind of dicey. Maybe a new skilling mini game based around the artisan skills. And then we need some technical shit.
Yep.
Some mobile updates, some UI updates, HD updates, some system updates. Yeah, client updates, whether it's like Michael said, the clan hall, the collection log, the menus, whatever it is, or the bingo system in game, or it's the mobile update, the HD RuneScape update, whatever it is. We need something there, and then raids ?
Ooh, it's either they're going to touch on a new raid, or they're going to announce a new raid.
If they announce a new raid before sailing,
yeah, you're right.
No,
you're right.
that's a terrible. It's not even that it's a terrible idea. I think a new raid could be fun. Issue with a new raid is then what? Because now you're being pulled in 3 major directions. Well, technically 4, because you figure it's like weekly updates, new stuff, the quests, which are probably people are really at the top of their mind right now, and sailing. If
Mhm.
you divert resources from all of those to make a new raid with a bunch of incompleted systems with sailing, I don't think we'll see raids 4 until sailing has been released into the game.
True. So
If I'm
2027,
if I'm wrong, I'll be shocked, but I do not think
2026
we will see
probably.
raids 4 until 26, probably.
Yeah. Which is insane that it's going to be 6 years again. Another 6-year gap from raid to raid.
But what do you add in a new raid?
I don't know.
That's the
Like,
problem. Until the community is okay with things no longer being best in slot, what do you add from a new raid? You can't add
variety.
a new
Variety. I don't know.
variety, Michael.
Like, you
PVM
could get-
needs reward.
You can get a twisted bow or you can get a scaly bow. I don't know. Just variety. Like, if you want the best range upgrade, let it come from something different. This is a topic for another whole episode. We're in the recap.
Yeah, this is
another episode.
This is a
topic,
gloves.
so-
This is a gloves on topic for sure. This is not what we can do right now. This is a gloves on topic.
Gotta put this on the shelf.
T-Bow's basically the same as Bofa, and that's what we'll leave you with.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so September 7th is the date for Summer Summit 2024. We'll be back probably, I don't know, what's the episode after that? Because we'll probably be back mid-September to recap that and see what we got right. So hope you guys enjoyed. Stick around after the break where you'll hear a lot of talking. I mean, a lot of talking about
Dare
fun
I even
stuff. Though.
ask?
There's so many, Oxie. There's so many. We'll see after this.
What's up, Scapers? Are you guys ready for the greatest edition of the Grand Exchange since the Grand Exchange? You better be, cause it's time to join a clan, baby! That's right, come on down to the Grand Exchange and start your own clan with your friends!
Oh, sorry, I'm already in a friends chat.
Oh, I'm already in a friends chat. Yeah? Does your friends chat have a formal rank structure? What about these sick-ass icons? And what about the clan hall? That's right, you heard me. Join a clan and get a free community mansion with a full unpaid staff. Wait a minute, we're not getting paid. Sign up today and I'll even throw in a free banner so you can hoist your colors. Use it to beat the shit out of some goblins so they'll know who sent you. Join a clan today, baby! Woo!
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break because I know that I sure did. I got a drink of water because I'm going to talk for a long time. It's time for Patreon, the first part of this second half here where we take some time to thank our patrons. Normally, at the start of this segment, we go into our newest Wise Old Man patrons, but there are none this week. So on the screen now is some love for our current Wise Old Man patrons. Hello, you guys are amazing. Each and every one of you, from the A's to the Z's, A, B, C, D, all the way through. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. If you're in our Wise Old Man patrons list, you guys rock. The best part about being a Wise Old Man patron, if you were to ask each of them, is the perk of being in the recording booth. We have quite a few people right now, 9, counting me and Oxie, so 7. And I would say probably a lot of them are Wise Old Man patrons. There's a couple KBDs in here, but in that tier, you get access to the recording booth, which allows you to be with us while we're recording the podcast. You'll, if you're new and or you haven't listened to that many episodes, you probably have heard us reference the recording booth, and that's just a way that we can connect with you while we're recording. You also have access to our extra Patreon stream. Call it an extra episode. It's more of like another way that we can connect with the community, but it's a live stream that we do once a month, every third Friday of the month over on our YouTube. This last time was like 2 days ago, and we did the Dragon Slayer 2 stream. Took like 4.5 hours. It was a lot of fun. And you actually can go back and watch all of the old streams. And you have access to our backlog of extra episodes as well. That'll actually start at the Party Pete tier, but you get access to it in the Wise Old Man tier. So thank you so much to all the Wise Old Man patrons. Now, moving on to our KBD tier folks. These guys get a shout out also, but it's very special, and we're going to shout them out by name. Starting at the top, big thank you and shout out to Apathy. Asking for Oxie's secret OnlyFans cost $666. Boston Sport 5.
That's a creative one. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't expecting that name to be that high up. That's pretty good.
Brooke 70. Oxie's dad. Oliver dad. Hi dad. Cloud Kicker. Damon S. Dicky Bird. Elite Oreo Dunker. Oxie's shower time companion. I think that would be Chaos Cleric.
Oh.
Our third favorite Patreon supporter, Ralph. Run Metal 15. Rylithian. Soggy Waffles. Seppi J. Sparky Life. Swolmediant's campaign isn't over. The Big G Jordy. The Crayola Tallymorn. And Warbatroning. Every time we do the KBD shoutouts, there are some like rock solid foundational. They never change their name. They're constants in the KBD tier. And then we have some that are just like wild cards, and I love it. So thank you so much to all of our KBD patrons. You guys are amazing. Muchos smoochos for your support over on Patreon. If you want to join these wild folks and potentially get your name shouted out, you can go to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Xpwaste. We have many tiers, 4 to be in fact, and they're going to range from $1 all the way to $25. There was a point in time when we said, "Hey, can we go over 25?" And people were like, "You do it and I will." And we're like, "Nah, 25 is great cuz we're not taking a cut from any of this money personally. It all goes back into the show. It sits in our bank account, and we just kind of like, what can we spend money on that would make XP Waste better?" So if you want to support our show, it's patreon.com/XP Waste. Next up, we have the community question. Last week, we asked you guys, give us your favorite non-OSRS related video game memory. That's a tongue twister. That's a mouthful. I'm going to start here on the YouTube replies because I think there are not that many actually on YouTube. I think we have 6 or 7. Where did my window go? There's probably like 6 or 7, which isn't that many compared to Discord, but we're going to start there. What's your favorite non-OSRS related video game memory? Wesley says, not sure if anyone has really played it. But when I was young, me and my best friend would play Legend of Dragoon. It's a 4-disc PS1 turn-based RPG. As a young kid, probably like 7, I wasn't very good at it, but the first time I ever beat the final boss will stay in my memory forever. Probably took 20 tries, but I got there eventually. Dinosaur says, for my Mass Effect lovers out there, the suicide mission at the very end of the second game is my favorite moment of fiction ever, period. The music, the tension, chef's kiss. Any character can die at any moment if you make the wrong choices, and it's so hype when you finally fly the Normandy out of there with everyone alive, and you carry that save file into the third game. The first time I ever played through the second game, that right there was my favorite non-OSRS video game memory.
You carry the save file into the third game?
That's cool.
Fucking crazy. I did not know that about Mass Effect 2 and 3. I feel like I should play Mass Effect now. Just for that reason alone. That's crazy, dog.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. Like a sequel to a game, you keep the same character in the progression. Normally it's just like you're starting over and there's a new threat. But to keep your same character and like the choices that you made in the first game affect you in the second game, that's really neat. Sonic Theory says, for me, it would be playing A Way Out with my good friends. We got really immersed in it and had such a fun time. The ending of the game, there was a big twist your way, which was awesome. It really made me appreciate co-op gaming again. Half Deaf DM says, having an annual NHL 2001 tournament at my family's cottage in northern Michigan. We used a Caldar's milk jug for the trophy. Nice. Nancy says, favorite game is probably Ocarina of Time or Pokemon Yellow. but my favorite memory would be the first game I ever played, which was Super Mario 64. We got an N64 shortly after release with Super Mario 64 and spent countless hours with my dad and brother playing it. I was able to do all the content except third Bowser fight. I had to have my dad help, and it felt like such an epic fight watching him defeat the last Bowser. Man, why'd you have to hit me in the feels? I'm a dad with a kid, and I don't know. That just hits different when you're a dad. Holy cow. Moving on, before I start crying, Otto God Bless says, Busco Beep here. My childhood house did not have Wi-Fi, and my brother would always have his friends over in the summer. We would 2v1 in Modern Warfare 2, and because I was labeled a screen peeker, we'd have to tape a bed sheet to the middle of the TV, and I would go under while the other screens were on top of the TV and mine was on the bottom. I was also banned from using the RPG, AT4, noob tubes, flashbangs, and the thumper against them. I lost a lot, but it was so sweet whenever I won.
That tells me they were scared of you, dog.
Holy cow, dude. That goes far to stop screen peeking. Like, we never did that, but damn, taping a bed sheet to the screen to stop them from looking. Holy gosh. All right, well that's it on YouTube. Moving over to our Spotify comments, starting with Otis says, my favorite non-RS moment was when Dom sacrificed himself for his team in Gears of War. Number 3. It was an incredibly sad moment, but such an iconic moment. It had been the only gaming moment that ever made me cry. If I ended up maxing my Iron Man, I will no doubt cry, and will take over as my favorite of all time. Gears of War. I think I played the first one briefly, but I do remember Gears of War coming out. Never got into it because I wasn't into like shoot 'em games, especially ones that were so bloody. Sejbus, I think that's how you say your name. Sejbus says, loving the podcast, keep up the good work. Answer the question. Need for Speed, Most Wanted on PS2. The opening scene, racing in the BMW. You notice an oil leak, car sputters, and when I tell you I never felt hatred like it before, absolutely love the game and the nostalgia that it carries. Next up, Big Money says the most memorable video game moment was beating the Dracovian trials from Dragon Quest VIII in PlayStation 2 with my brother. Beating the end game after 300 hours felt amazing. Damn, 300 hours for a PS2 game? I don't know if that's normal, but maybe I'm just like, I didn't play that many games. I figured they're all like, 30 to 50 hour games and then you're done. 300 hours? That's great. And finally, on Spotify, Zom says, I swear I've listened to this podcast for over 2 years and I have not once heard you guys talk about RS3. I don't think you need to keep mentioning it. That's very true, Zom. Although that's not video game related, you do have a point. Almost every day,
It is
every time in the intro.
video game related. You mentioned we might talk about RS3.
I do. I'm a serial RS3 mentioner. We did talk about RS3 today, and we didn't
compared
even
it.
warn them, dude. We didn't warn them.
Thank God.
How would they have known?
Keeping them on their toes.
Keeping them on their toes. That's it for Spotify. And now the big one, Discord. We're going to have a talk about Discord after this, but we're going to get through this. There are 40 replies here. I'm not going to go speed read like we did last time, but we are going to go quite fast.
I will say I'm amply upset because not only did I tell you guys to give us 100 responses, and I only got 40. We got the exact same number of responses this week as we did last week. So we've hit a new personal best that apparently we cannot beat until we get a new best in slot item. So no, it's too late, Chaos Cleric. The thread is closed. Go away.
Thread's closed. Can't do it. You have mod power, so you might, but like maybe not. We're going to do this. We're going to get through it. What is your favorite non-OSRS related video game memory? Cage No Yoru says, going down to Sophia River well in Elden Ring, day of release, after not knowing it was in the game. Going down an unassuming tomb-like elevator and then walking into a sprawling, beautiful landscape was genuinely awe-inspiring.
Sounds like the first time I found Black Rage.
Ooh. At a very similar moment, every time I entered new zones and was teleported across the map and just watched the scope of the game grow and grow beyond my expectations. David Diction says, playing Final Fantasy IX on PS1 for the first time. I was in total awe of the graphics, cutscenes mainly, where Square Enix exiles up until today, IMO. Huh? That's a lot of words that I don't know. And the sheer disbelief of an open world aspect besides the main storyline. It was when I fell in love with Final Fantasy games and I subsequently the Kingdom of Hearts franchise. Kingdom Hearts was a perfect mix of storytelling, gaming, and awesome graphics and cool bosses. The mix between Final Fantasy and Disney is absolutely goated for someone who grew up with those stories.
Hell yeah. Michael,
Yo.
I'm kind of hungry, so I'm gonna munch on these. I just wanted you to see them.
Yo! How'd you
yeah,
get beaver nuggets?
So my mom and sister went to Kentucky a couple weeks ago. Remember I said I had to be home for that? They went and they're like, oh, we're going to Buc-ee's. I said, dog, you got to get beaver nuggets. I don't remember what they taste like, but all my southern friends say they're like ambrosia. And so they went to go visit a friend in Kentucky and they brought her mom with her. The friend's mom said they tasted like hay. So while you read the other 70 responses, I'm going to be chomping on beaver nuggets.
Nice. Recycle Please says, I have two that stick out. One is leaving the PlayStation 2 on forever because we didn't have a memory card to save our data. And two was being the only game that was ever defeated me and my older brother. We played it on PlayStation 2 where we were 5 to 7 year old ish, and it's called Haven, Call of the King. We spent trying to beat this one level, but could never figure it out. When we found out PlayStation 2 emulators existed, we were considering trying to run it back and beat it, but we decided against it and left the game with the reputation of the only game that has ever bested us. I like that idea. Like, if there was a game that I couldn't beat as a kid, I think I would just leave it. Like, I don't want to conquer every sort of boss. It's just fun to have that thing. Like, I couldn't do it, so now I'm not going to try. Because you probably could.
That's quitter mentality. I'd get back in that bitch as an adult. I swear to God, dude.
You got to leave some stuff on the field, or else you're never going to be satisfied. Vizman15 says, back in primary school when Fun Orb came out, I got obsessed with the games there, especially the ones where you play in a wizard fighting against others in a turn-based thing. Honestly, have no idea the names of any of the games. That and Adventure Quest. I loved that it was a one-time payment to access everything. So many fun memories.
Was Adventure Quest the one that came out right before World of Warcraft? I don't remember. Josh Strife Hayes talks about it all the time.
I don't remember. I never played Adventure Quest, unfortunately. Next up, Zeno, Crank and Hog says, toss up between two. Learning how to min-max and strategize / make decisions when playing Final Fantasy Tactics as a young child. Still my favorite game to this day, spending every bit of time I had after school the entire 5th grade year playing Pokemon Yellow and watching Pirates of the Caribbean 1 will get my dream team of Pokemon to 100 before beating the Elite Four. Shrew says, playing Sly 2, The Band of Thieves on PS2 when I was a kid. I would spend countless hours of the game trying to do everything possible, specifically finding all the clue bottles on every level. It's a game I still go back and play through once in a while. Swole says, playing Forza Horizon with the boys and making a rule that you had to stop mid-race to run to the kitchen, have a shot / drink each lap before you finish the required laps. Used to end up with an ass up tripping over each other, but best memories. That's kind of like drunk driving on Mario Kart, where before you finish the game, you have to finish whatever drink you're drinking, and you can't drive and drink at the same time. If you've not done that, that's really fun to do. Jordy says, beating the NR1 on the blacklist called Razor in Need for Speed Most Wanted and getting back that sweet BMW M3 GTR. That, or finally figuring out that Mount Coronaut as a kid and facing Dialga in Pokemon Diamond.
Oh, baby. What a time.
You're gonna flame me for this one, Oxie, but I don't
know
remember.
You've never played Pokemon. I know.
I haven't played Pokemon. And you know why? I was sheltered and Pokemon was the devil. So I had to play it as an adult. And it's a little bit different when you don't grow up with the nostalgia of playing Pokemon games as a kid. Like, it doesn't hit the same. Next up, Ogihili. How do you say it, Oxie? Ogihili? Ogiegi? I think that was it. Ogiegi. I would say getting the Master Quest Cape in RS3, but if that doesn't count, then I'll say beating a level 10 fencing trial in Wii Sports Resort.
Fucking love that game.
Also, according to R3 lore, the Duke was a psychologist who was inventing therapy before he started eating his patients. So if Oxie needs to make a drastic career move, then the Duke might have some tips.
Bro, just call me the Duke.
What? Huh? That's crazy.
I'm going to start munching on these fuckers, dude.
Air Mid says, my first ever solo chicken dinner in PUBG when the game was a week old was an 8-kill game with 5 of them in the last 20. So intense, felt like I was one with the rifle. Other than that, League of Legends games after school with the boys. Vin of Fire says, I think my favorite memory is from early middle school. I discovered a site called Free World Group. I don't know if it still functions. That had literally tens of thousands of Flash games on it. Given that I never owned a console other than the Wii until I was an adult, this was huge for my baby gamer brain. D4 Drake says, playing Pokemon on Game Boy until I fell asleep. It was the first grind. Also having to try and see the screen since there was no backlight. Simpler times. Damn, dude. Like you would like hold a flashlight with your neck like this and then play while you're laying down. Like you get a creak in your neck, but it was worth it. Nate Dogg says, completing all the VidMaster achievements in Halo 3 and ODST with my brother and 2 friends during the weekend all-nighter. Nothing has felt more epic than the Ghosts run in the final mission and finally getting it, or doing a full mission on ODST solo without shooting or throwing a grenade.
No thanks. Those achievements were crazy as a kid. So huge GZ, Nate.
Yeah. Bearing says, when I was a kid, I wanted to play GoldenEye on N64 like my brother, but my parents deemed I was too young, so they would hide the cartridge after he was done. Classic parents. When they left me alone, I climbed up to the hiding spot in the kitchen cabinets, brought it to the 64, and just walked through the opening level, getting my ass kicked. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Man, GoldenEye was one of those games that I did play as a kid on the 64, so that one kind of hit me too, because I had very sheltered parents, and it was a wonder that they let us play GoldenEye. But like, I don't know, did they just think you wouldn't go and get it? Of course you're gonna go get it. It's in a freaking easy to get hiding spot. That's funny. Next up, Tankneek says, the first time I went to my friend's house and was introduced to the world of competitive FPS games, Halo 2. And I was instantly hooked, and I've played FPS games ever since. I still play Counter-Strike to this day. But those early years of sleepovers with friends, 2v2 split screens, going into multiplayer, playing big team battles with your boys, those are the good old days.
That's my teammate right there. Hell yeah, Technique. Well, former teammate.
Former.
Traitor.
Mr. Curtin says, Nate Dogg stole mine. Same as him doing the ghost run in the final mission of Halo 3 to try and unlock some recon armor was a huge achievement and so much fun. Mad Scientist Man says, finally beating Lance in Pokemon Red as a kid. I knew I wasn't done yet, but those Dragonites were no joke for me as a kid. Walt Kidney says, waking up in middle school to find out we had a snow day. Instead of going back to bed, I'd grind out Call of Duty World at War on the Wii. Had a rifle adapter for the Wiimote and everything.
Bro, the snow day Call of Duty grinds were fun as shit.
It felt like those days lasted forever when in reality it was like a couple of hours. But the idea of not going to school and getting to stay home and play video games all day just felt like the biggest treat. And that's coming from someone who was homeschooled, and I still understand that mindset and mentality.
Did you ever get a snow day as a kid?
We got like days where, because we would like beg my mom, we're like, nobody else has to go to school, why do we? And it's like she would give in sometimes. So yes, we would occasionally get snow days just because, I don't know, like I would do the same. Like if my kid was homeschooled and all of his friends didn't have to go to school and they were out like sledding and having fun, then I would probably let them not have to do school that day. Group Dingo says, spending literally all night playing World of Tanks on school night, then going to school and the teachers thinking I was on drugs because of how tired I was. maybe 2, just because I'm a bit of a weirdo. DJ Street says, kind of just a lurker here, but I listen all the time. The long podcasts are great for work. I've got 2 pretty distinct ones: speedrunning Banjo and Kazooie and getting it down to sub 4 hours at 100%. Damn. And the other one was the ending of BioShock Infinite, the ambiguous interpretations and major twists right before running the credits had me thinking about it for weeks. BioShock is one of those games that I think I would like to play as an adult. My brother had all the games and he played all of them, and I just like the creepy, weird, like shooting games I never got into. I was more of a RuneScape kind of guy, and so I think I would enjoy them now. Ketone says, finally slapping Steven up in Pokemon Ruby. I remember resetting the game repeatedly until I hit Fissure with my Groudon that only had 7 HP to KO that darn Metagross.
Dude, that one hits close to home, man. I played Sapphire as a kid. That was my first. I'm a Gen 3 kid at Rep Hoenn. Holy shit. I had like a Sceptile and shit, dude, going up against Metagross. That shit was real hard. But, yeah.
I don't know what I would do without you, actually, because I would just be mispronouncing Pokemon names left and right. So, thank you for being here. Next up, Garderin? I think that's how you say your name. Hunting for the ingots in the pit of Fallout 3 and finding the last 3 for 100% completion. Well done. 100% completion. Thogart says, Xbox 360 Minecraft with buddies is some of my favorite set of memories with games, but my favorite has to be watching my friends finish their 5-year D&D campaign. Holy cow.
She knows what's up. Those are 2 good ones.
Yeah. I Minecraft on the 360 was how I got introduced to Minecraft. So that's a fun one for me. I am going to give you guys my favorite memories here at the end, because I have 2. Next up, Hyperflare says, couple spring to mind, playing Halo 2 online against the Ogre Brothers, which was amazing as a kid. And finally beating through the fire and the flames on Expert on Guitar Hero 3. Man, forgot Guitar Hero existed. That's a good
now
one.
Here we stand with the blood on our hands. We fought so hard now. Can we understand? I'll break the seal of this curse if I possibly can for freedom of every man.
Thank you, Oxie, for that. Dr. Polendorius. We'll go with that. My girlfriend, who's now my wife, teaching me how to play Minecraft when we first started dating. We spent so many hours playing and building things together. Our relationship was built on Minecraft, and we still play lots of different modded versions. That's cute. Love that.
If anyone is trying to do that with me, that'd be great. Just like out of curiosity, you know? Just saying.
Sorry, Oxy. You find someone. Moving on, Tiz Talk Papa says, agree with Hypa on the Fire and the Flames comment, 100%. I would say the would you kindly reveal from BioShock 1 shook me to my core. See, this is the second BioShock comment, and it's like, I want to be shook.
And you don't even get that. You don't even get that reference. I don't get it either, but I'm sure it's going to shake you to your core now.
Yeah, I'm shaking, man. Next up, Taco Dog 8 says, defeating Cynthia in the Pokemon Diamond after losing 56 times was my best memory I had playing a Pokemon game.
I know you never played Pokemon. Dedication. I know you never played Pokemon.
I did.
When? As an adult? As a grown man?
I played Pokemon. I was like 15. 16,
did you play around
maybe.
This era, though? The Diamond
Pokemon Platinum, I think it was.
Okay. Did you ever get to Cynthia?
Probably. I had over 100 hours in that game.
The end of the Elite Four? You'd remember.
Maybe.
Oh, you would remember.
Oh, would I?
Well,
you're a music guy, so of course that's the thing you remember.
The thing about that music track is it played every time you failed. That was like the walk-up music to Cynthia's fight.
Oh.
So if you're like Taco Dog and it took you 57 attempts, you heard that stupid fucking piano every single time. If you don't play Pokemon, as a Pokemon champion, Cynthia is the equivalent to Zuck in the Pokemon
Really?
universe.
Oh, wow.
Everybody says like, "Oh, she's really not that hard," but like when Cynthia first came out, she had a fucking secret Pokemon on her team with Spiritomb. No, like Spiritomb was one of those you had to do a bunch of random shit to figure it out. Nobody actually knew the Pokemon existed before they got to Cynthia.
Whoa.
Because there was no like obvious reference to it anywhere. And her team has like 15 diverse types or something like that. And like, yeah, she's got her Garchomp at the very end as her ace, but like her other 5 will also beat the living shit out of you. And then when they released her in Platinum instead of Diamond and Pearl, they swapped out her. I want to say they swapped her Gastrodon for the Togekiss, which just made the fight even harder. So I
might not have gotten to the final four.
The old
whatever you call them.
So it was after the Elite Four. She's the champion of that region.
Oh,
right? And yeah, she's brutal. She's a hard fight. There's in Pokemon, I think in the next game, Black and White or whatever it was, there's just like a random town you walk into, and as soon as you walk into like a random house, the piano starts playing, and Cynthia's like, "Hey, I'm here on vacation. You want to battle?" And you fight Cynthia. Just like on a random Tuesday.
That's hilarious.
Look at like the clips of people getting like jump scared in that are funnier than shit.
That's great.
But yeah, no, 56 attempts, I could see it. As a kid in Diamond, yeah, I could see that 100%.
Damn. Nice. Yeah, I don't know if I beat the game. I want to say I did, but you're right. If I had actually done
that
Cynthia
theme,
fight,
that
I
theme
would
have given you chills.
Yeah. Well, moving on. Lack of Morale says, playing Paper Mario at 6 or 7 years old. My father watched me play all the way through and helped me when I was stuck. It was the first game I ever beat, and it got me into RPGs. I've now played the game all through with my 2 kids, which adds even more to the experience. See, again, it's one of those things. Hits you as a parent. Rummy Tumble says, I'm more of a tabletop gamer outside of OSRS, and finishing Age of Empires Age of Mythology campaign mode as a kid fundamentally changed how I engage with the fantasy genre.
Age of Mythology 2 coming 2025, but hopefully soon.
I'm Rambo's granddad says, keeping a Minecraft world going nonstop when Bedrock first released on Xbox. We had 6 people doing shifts, 3 days, 3 on days, 3 on nights, doing a duplication glitch with the dispenser before Creative came out. So if we found a diamond ore, we farmed that one diamond, duplicated enough to fill a chest, have full diamond armor and tools. We did this for 2 weeks straight. Then the Xbox got a red ring of death, and we stopped playing after that. Damn.
R.I.P. dog.
Hey, at least you have the memories, right? You're left with the memories. Penguin Dude says, the Psycho Mantis fight in Metal Gear Solid, where your controller is plugged into a PS1 port, he can read your mind and dodge all attacks. To complete this fight, you have to unplug the controller and plug it into the P2 port. Such a cool boss fight. What? That's interesting. That's really cool, actually.
I would not have known that. That would have beat the shit out of me as a kid.
Game developers back then got to be so creative. A lot of people play with wireless controllers, and you don't have a disc in there, and so I don't know. Anyway, Steel Beam says, probably playing through Metal Arms, glitch in the system on Xbox with my younger brother, who at the time had a broken arm. Seeing him clear some of the later levels with ease while still in a cast still amazes me to this day. Next up, Rue
Tigger T. And with respect, I'll take this one if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll do it justice. The cutscene leading into the arc. Ratas Vadam's casually dropping the hardest line in gaming history, and the Pelicans dropping out of the In Amber Clad. I love this cutscene. I love this cutscene because it comes on the coattails of another absolutely shocking cutscene in Halo 3. The reason I said I wanted to take it is because I know myself, and Rue Tigger actually quoted it. Roof ships, staggered line, shipmaster, they outnumber us 3-1. That it is an even fight. All cruisers fire at will. Burn their mongrel hides. Truth's ship isn't taking part in the attack. He must have gone to ground. And then they go, oh my God. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, don't worry. There's more where that came from. But let me tell you, God, that's a good one. Root Tigger, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Thank you for taking that, because I would have butchered all of that. So, and then, I would have disappointed you. And so glad you took it. Fire Drillin says, playing through Halo 3 and Halo 3 ODST with a couple friends to get out our 7 Vidmaster achievements and unlock that sweet, sweet recon armor set. Zooming through the collapsing panels in Ghosts and then taking Mongoose through New Mombasa. Mombasa will always
New
have
Mombasa.
a special place. New Mombasa will always have a special place in my heart.
I am ashamed to admit, as a Halo player, I have never done the Vidmaster achievements because I didn't have any friends as a kid to do them with. So I didn't ever do them as a child. So like, to me, recon was a very like unobtainable piece of armor. So when it was a pre-order bonus for Halo Reach, I pre-ordered it the day I heard about it. So I can get the recon armor in Reach.
Oh, there you go. Kyrandia says, watching my kids play humongous games, for me specifically, it was probably Fortran 77 Adventure or Dungeon. Shifty Sniper says, I have 2 that are tied, sitting with the homies after middle school playing COD Zombies, and then staying up late playing COD after we got home. The first month Pokemon Go came out was a wild time, going on road trips with my friends from high school just to catch certain mons.
Brother,
Man, 2016 was a good year.
We got stopped by the police downtown.
What?
The first day of playing Pokemon Go. Because everybody was out. This cop pulled up to us and he's like, guys, nobody's in trouble. What the is going on? And my buddy, who was like going to school to be a cop, he was getting a criminal justice degree and then he's going to be a cop. He like put his whole head inside the cruiser with the phone and was like, check this shit out, dude. There's Pokemon in the real world. Like
oh my gosh.
It was a fantastic time. That first, when you like, because that was back when Pokemon, they didn't spawn around Pokestops. They actually spawned in the wild and you had to like track them down.
Yeah.
The system would eventually break after a couple of weeks. But that first little bit of like, dude, that was probably the most walking I've done in my life.
Yeah, because
I tell you right now, I probably walked
trespassing and stuff.
Dude, I probably walked 15 miles a day for the first 2 weeks of Pokemon Go. I remember walking to work for 2 straight weeks. I had a car. I could have driven. I worked 3 miles away. Didn't matter. I would leave an hour early and I would walk to work just so I could catch Pokemon on the way. It was 2016 Pokemon Go went so insanely hard. I loved it.
That's great. I played it for like a month. But yeah, it was a great time seeing everybody outside, interacting with each other, walking around. It was the most people I've seen outside in a long time. We have reached the end with our final one here from CMAC04. They said, my main one is playing COD, Black Ops 2, and Advanced Warfare back in the day. No worries, no stress, just vibes. Used to spend hours after school or on the weekend just playing it over and over again.
Advanced Warfare kind of I'm not going to lie. Black Ops 2 was good. Advanced Warfare kind of
Nice. Yeah, I was not into the shooter games. I played Halo 2 and Halo 3. And so I guess I'll do mine. So my 2 is we had a friend that we would play Halo all the time. Anytime we did like a sleepover at their house, we would bring our Xbox, and he had a TV in his room and he had a TV in his brother's room, and we would hook up an Xbox here and an Xbox there, and we would 2v2 and on different teams. So like one team was here, one team was there, actual LAN parties. So much fun. And then my second one is in college in 2013 when Minecraft came out for the Xbox 360. My friend and I would just stay up all night. And we had, don't tell anybody this, but we had an older friend buy us Smirnoff Ice. I was 20, so I was almost 21. Smirnoff Ice. And we would split a 6-pack and just play Minecraft. And it was so stupid and so fun. But those are my 2 favorite video game memories that are not old school RuneScape related. We have a few minutes. Do you have any of your favorite memories, Oxie?
Distance is closing on the Covenant supercarrier. So, it's gonna be like that. I've got good news and bad news. This bird took some fire on the way in and a thruster gimbal's toast. So the only way off this slag heap is gravity. What's the good news? That was the good news. At current velocity, 53 seconds to endpoint. Yeah. Bad news is, time is fried. Gonna have to fire it manually. That's a one-way trip. We all make it sooner or later. Listen, Reach has been good to me. Time has come to return the favor. Don't deny me this. Tell him to make it count. Doom 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 doom. And then it gets even worse when all those ships pop in. I think that may have been the most anxious I've ever felt watching a Halo cutscene in my life. That shit was insane because prior to that point in my life, every single time a main character was in a dangerous situation in any piece of media, they found a way to escape, especially after playing the first 3 Halo games and ODST. And then to have the anti-dot slipspace rupture detected. Slipspace rupture detected. Slipspace rupture detected. Like the whole thing. Oh god, dude. Beautiful and horrible. That's probably my favorite like playing moment. But as far as like moments with other people, I mean, I know I've talked about my experiences with zombies on the show. I know I've talked about my experiences playing games, like playing Minecraft, particularly with like I've had a lot of like various Minecraft phases throughout my life. Like I don't know who it was mentioned the old Xbox 360 Minecraft. I think it may have been Thogert. She said like just playing with buddies after school and shit. Like that was incredible, dude. We had a My World we all played on. We didn't have a server, obviously. But we played on My World and we built some really cool stuff. We had a really good time with that. It's like old Minecraft. And like when I got older, when I was like streaming on Twitch, doing it with like Owen and Kaylee, things like that, you know, beating the dragon together, beating the Wither together, like those were all really fun. If we're thinking like favorite like story beat moments, it's definitely George's sacrifice. But as far as like playing with other people, yeah, I think I'd have to sit and really make like a big list of favorites. When my buddy and I first beat the Ender Dragon, when Owen and I beat we were like, he was a senior in college and I had like just graduated. So it wasn't even like we were kids, right? We just had never done it before because for us it felt really out of reach. And we finally did it or whatever. And that was a fantastic time killing the dragon. That was a very epic fight. We were armed to the teeth. This was pre-netherite, so we had just like everything. This is pre-netherite back when enchantments actually costed 30 levels. So like when I tell you all our shit was fully enchanted, we we did not know what to expect. So we worked for months on that shit. But yeah, that's
cool.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good memories, a lot of good times playing games with the boys that aren't OSRS. But
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for all of the answers to last week's question. If you want to answer this week's question, it's going to be give us your Summer Summit predictions. We want to know. We made a lot of claims and a lot of predictions, and I'd venture to say most of them are right. But if there's something we forgot to mention or maybe missed, leave it in the comment section on Spotify or the pinned comment on this YouTube video. Now, to address the elephant in the room that was Discord.
It's literally been an hour. We went to break and we said, all right, guys, see you after this. And I said, Michael, this is going to be another hour with community question alone. That was at 1 hour, 56 minutes on the recording track. We are at 2 hours and 56 minutes and 38 seconds on the recording track. It was literally an hour.
So I was trying to think about it because I actually took a break. Like I went to the restroom and I ate some chips and salsa because I was hungry. But I was trying to think about like how do I put into words what my feeling and what my thought for the community question is. And it's not to hear me talk for like 20, 30 minutes straight. Like it's supposed to be a short segment on what is a larger second half of the episode. So if we keep going with the way it is now, it's only going to get more and more accessible and more popular as the Discord grows. So leaving the community question in an open thread on Discord, I don't think it's going to have the effect that we want it to have when it comes to getting answers from the community. There are obviously people who have answered this community question in the last 2 weeks that have never answered the community question before, and that's great. I that was like a cool experiment and a cool thing to see. But as far as a segment on the show, we could have an extensive community question and like go into each answer and like have replies, but that would be the entire second half. And that's not what we want. So we want to make it something that is community focused. You guys have a say, you guys have your names read out, you answer our questions, but we want it to be something that's like still short and sweet. And we had that before and there was a sweet spot. And I think it's kind of shifted from that whenever the answer, or like you can just answer it in Discord. So from now on, since the comment section seems to be working properly on Spotify, we're just going to go back to the comment section for the episode on Spotify, and then obviously you can comment on YouTube as well. So I don't expect the thread to be back up, and if you guys have any feedback or like any suggestions, we're open to it. Let us know. But I think moving forward, that's the decision, and that's how we're gonna try and do it. So thank you so much for answering the community question. Sending it on over, finally, like I told you before, I'm going to talk a lot, but now I get to take a break and Oxie gets to talk for Achievement of the Week.
Yeah,
Over to you.
indeed, I do. Indeed, I do. We have 700 achievements. It's going to be another hour. I'm kidding. It's not gonna be another hour. It's a pretty average achievement of the week. Average length achievement of the week this week. We got some pretty sick ass achievements, so we're going to kick off in the miscellaneous tier this week. Walt Kidney and Oak J95 both received their quest capes this week, which is pretty hype. Michael and I are close to our quest capes and our GIMs ourselves, so we can smell it, just as I'm sure you guys could too. And then both Zepsky and Elvis J got their diary capes this week, which, if they announce a Varlamore diary, will actually be pretty fun. So we can actually go and get a bunch of, I don't know, like new diaries to go. Like that will really revitalize Varlamore and be super fun. Not revitalize Varlamore as if it's dead, but like it'll be a good time. Moving on to the combat achievement category this week. Iron Blood and Death Not Reuben both achieved their fire cape this week. You finally conquered Jad. I know it took you guys a couple of attempts, but you've gone and done it. If you can survive the Jad hands, you can survive anything in this game. And I do mean anything. So there's more beauty to come. In addition to first this week, I think we only have one. This is the first time we've only had one first, I'm pretty sure. And it's Melvin Man completing the gauntlet for the first time. I think. If somebody else did Zulra or CG or something like that, let us know. But I think Melvin Man is the only one. He stands alone killing the gauntlet for the first time. As far as combat achievements and the combat achievements section of Achievement of the Week are concerned, Moist Sean completed the easy combat achievements. Once again, at Hesperia, the man really loves the big plant boss. Papa Smurf 080 completed the medium combat achievements, and Harry X completed the elite combat achievements. Welcome to the Jadhelm gang. As far as kits are concerned this week, Narad21 stepped up after quite a few attempts and got the Phalanx. Finally got the Cursed Phalanx. He also got one of the TOA pet transmogs as well, because it's usually you'll get the transmogs when you do your Fang kit runs. It's something gets leveled up to level 4, you know? But congratulations to you. You've now got the Fancy Fang. And we don't just have one this week. We got two, baby. Blueberry, after months of not playing and coming back and having several attempts on the wonderfully created graphs that he posted, and Clues, who got it, I think, in 15 attempts, both achieved their Infernal Cape this week. They both got their Infernal Cape. So huge for the account. I think I like both of these capes because they represent the difficulty of the Inferno very well. On the one hand, you've got Blueberry, who posted literally Microsoft Excel graphs. He got it at 2:00 in the morning today. Been working on it since he started playing the game in 2021. He has well over 80 attempts, and he has graphed out his like time frame and the reasons why he failed. He got his Fang kit, and then he got his quiver, and then he went back into the Inferno. He did make it to Zuck, I think, 3 or 4 times before getting the cape. It takes a lot of attempts when you're not as experienced with the Inferno. On the other hand, we have Clues, who also got his Inferno cape this week. 15 attempts is not a lot for the Inferno. 15 attempts, you understand the game pretty well to get the Infernal cape in 15 attempts. However, I have a suspicion it took him a lot longer to get the Dinzana's quiver. A lot longer. So it goes to show that when you have experience doing other pieces of content, if you die in the Coliseum 100 times before you get your first quiver, but then you finally get your first quiver, the Inferno's not going to feel as hard because you have stacks and prayer switching and difficult boss fights and the pressure. You've done that. You've been there before. If you've not done anything but the Inferno, that bitch is going to take a long time. But in either situation, it is very possible to achieve the best in slot statistically and best in slot achievement and best in slot looks wise cape in this game, the Infernal cape. So congratulations to the both of you. Have fun playing the game, because there are some people coming up who are not having fun playing the game, and they will eventually, but they're not having fun right now. This means we're going to the skilling portion of this week's Achievement of the Week this week. Kicking things off, we have Billy H., who achieved 99 agility. Voltoro achieved 99 mining. White Light West achieved 99 attack. Canister Shell achieved 99 Slayer. My boy Shinkiro achieved 99 Prayer. My boy Jack did not achieve 99 Construction. He did not do Mahogany Homes for a week straight for like 13 hours at a time. Didn't do that. Zeno, my boy, I got 3 bingo teammates in a row. Ah, damn, you guys are going off. He got 99 Woodcutting, 99 Attack, and 99 Strength. Just Teeth achieved 99 Range. Pork Jerry achieved 99 Crafting, Defense, and Mage. Jimmo THC achieved 99 Strength, a childhood goal, and his first pet. Pets earn achievements, which I got flamed for like crazy because I accidentally put my TOA pet in levels and achievements. I literally picked a channel, posted it, didn't realize what channel it was, and Michael, like the same tick, responded with, pets aren't achievements. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? I'm like, there's no way I can ever recover from this, dude. I posted in the wrong channel. Oh, no. And then my boy Modern Major General rounding out the bingo teammates, or a former bingo teammate, because MMG is also a trader. He's on the TNL Invasion team, the trader team for the Raids Bank bingo. He got 99 hit points as well. But we got 2 more achievements that surpass all the rest in the skilling category. Michael, what are they? 2 max capes, baby. We got 2 max capes. Speaking of people not having fun playing RuneScape right now, he is so consumed in the Infernal Prison. Skillaxin forgot to tell us that he maxed last week. Skillaxin achieved 2277 total level, and the nightmares have set in, and he literally said, oh shit, I forgot to post this. So he can he can almost play the game. You're just keep going, Skillaxin. You're getting close. I believe in you. And my favorite post this week from Achievement of the Week, this man posted his max cape, did not post any other details. He literally said the GOUR is pronounced like pour, not sour. So Gorley has also achieved 2277 total level. I saw that post and I was like cranking my fist in real life. I'm like, that's what I'm fucking talking about. I really appreciate when someone can just like show up, slap it on the table, and be like, I know you're gonna shout me out, so you're gonna say it correctly this time. I really like that.
He spent like the last 6 months hearing Gourley
Calling him
every
Gourley
week.
to his face, and it's Gorley. But huge GZ, dog, on the 2277. I know you wrapped up your melee combats for last. I'm pretty sure it was your melee combats, but yeah. Gorley and Skillaxin achieved 2277 total level. They are free from the shitty skilling grinds. Skillaxin is suffering a little bit. He is also in the recording booth chat with us right now. He might be in he might be in the pit at the moment, but we don't know. But you'll get there. All of you will get there. You can do the Inferno. I promise you. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you it's easy content. It's harder than shit, but I promise you guys can get it done. If you did something awesome and you want to tell us about it, head over to discord.gg/OSRSTNL. Post about it in the levels and achievements chat. And again, we say it every week, but I gotta just reiterate, it really can be anything. You can post literally whatever you want in levels and achievements. We had somebody the other day, God, what did they post in levels and achievements? I saw it and I'm like, oh, that's unique. I kind of want to put that in there as like a miscellaneous achievement. Oh, they got the easy clue big spade. So like that's neat. That's a pretty cool collection log slot. Mima posted that he has the collection log 80% completed. Whoa. Stop it. Get some help. You know, we have people posting all sorts of like base 95s, base 70s, you know, anything you value as an achievement, put it in there and people will enjoy it and react to it because we have objectively the best RuneScape Discord in the world. We have always people in VCs. It's a bit of a chiller Sunday, so there's not as many people gaming right now, but we do have quite a bit of activity usually. So like I said, bit of a chill, rainier Sunday here in Michigan, so that's what I'm going to attribute to a little bit of a lower VC count, but this is the best place to come out, talk about RuneScape, and be surrounded by a good community of folks who like watching other people succeed in RuneScape. That said, Michael, the light at the end of the tunnel is upon us, where we leave together hand in hand, hand on asses, out into the sunset. Do you, my friend, have a fun question for us this week?
Well, before we get to the fun question, we've been talking about the clan restructure, and you mentioned we have the objectively the best, you know, Discord.
I lied.
Ever.
There is no light at the end of the tunnel.
It's close, okay? We're still in the tunnel.
I'm taking my hand off Michael's ass, and I'm just going to walk like this.
Listen, I had a thought while you were talking. I didn't want to interrupt you. We have the best Discord out there, and that's no secret. And it got even better because we have finally finished the clan restructure, and that includes the Clan Admissions Council, event planners, and lead boss tutors have been accepted and selected. And yeah, we have chat mods now. It's great. So if you see the side panel have new little sections with new people, that just means we have more people to make sure that TNL is going to be objectively and literally the best RuneScape Discord on the planet. So new chat mods, new roles, things are happening. It's not just me and Oxie and Team D anymore. It's going to be great. Yes, we have fun questions, and I am going to ask them. This one actually came from Otis, like off the dome today, 20 minutes ago. So, Oxie, fun question is another would you rather from the great mind of Otis. He has a couple. There's 3. We're going to do all 3. First one is, would you rather play RuneScape for a month with a glitchy mouse or a keyboard with sticky keys? I'm going to go with mouse. No, sorry. I'm going to go with keyboard. Keyboard with sticky keys because technically you can play the game without a keyboard. You just don't talk to people. Like anytime my mouse glitches out, I baby rage so hard. I'm like slamming it on the desk like, stop, I need to switch my prayers. And mostly it's just software related, but yeah, definitely picking the keyboard. Because I just talk to people in VC.
When we say glitchy mouse, do you mean like the clicks aren't going to register?
Yeah, like you click but nothing happens, or maybe you can't scroll out, or you can't like I don't know. You're moving your mouse and nothing happens.
Glitchy mouse all the way. I did that shit. Remember when my middle mouse button wasn't working for a while, way back in the day? Dude, doing Theater of Blood and you can't rotate your camera at all sucks. Like
you have to use the buttons.
You have to use the buttons and shit. It was terrible. But as the PVM guy here, not having access to F keys with a keyboard that is broken is horrible. I cannot imagine doing any of the content that I enjoy without F keys.
Well, you just put it on your mouse buttons if you have them.
I only have I have 4, but still, I think you're trying to rework your way out of the system. But there's also like an inability, you're trying to actually your way out of a would you rather, but I would rather have a glitchy mouse and a perfectly working keyboard. Because if I stick on F1 and I'm trying to touch something in my inventory and I can't load up I can't like hit F2 for my inventory because my prayer book just keeps opening and closing, I'm going to have a fit. I'm going to absolutely have a fit.
Let me throw some your way and see if it sticks. Okay?
Like
2
my
scenarios.
keys?
Yeah, exactly. Two scenarios. Let me know which one you think is better. You're doing a boss, like you're in your raid, and you press the F1. You can switch to whatever your inventory, your prayer book. You can switch using F1, but your glitchy mouse won't move your cursor. So yeah, you're switching to your prayer book, but the glitchy mouse, you can't get there. Scenario 2, your F1 key doesn't work because it's sticky and it's like maybe it's stuck and you can't press it, but you can still move your mouse to the inventory button because your mouse is working just fine. And you can move your mouse to the prayer book and switch your prayer manually and you're not dead. Which of those two would you like?
I guess if I'm going to skill and do AFK Slayer, fine. I don't need a keyboard. If I'm actually going to enjoy PVM, I'll take the bad mouse.
A glitchy mouse? Like your cursor doesn't move.
Okay. You're trying to, I think you're blowing the glitchy mouse out of proportion. A sticky keys on a keyboard versus your mouse won't move, the clicks won't register, you can't move, you can't right click, you can't left click.
You can
might as well not
still
even
play
have
the
a mouse
game
plugged in.
without.
Well,
you can play the game without F keys.
I
You
could
can't
use
play the game
mouse
without a
keys on
mouse.
my computer, and I could download bot software, and I wouldn't actually need to use a mouse.
You live your life. You can just live your life wrong, I guess.
I'm telling you, I've played it with a janky mouse. I would rather play RuneScape with a janky mouse than no F keys. What's next? What's the next question?
All right. Would you rather raid with a maxed volume yodeling or with a screaming kid in the room?
Yodeling. What?
Yodeling. 100%.
I have to take care of the screaming kid. Okay. I don't think you understand what it's like to raid in Gen Chat. It is screaming yodeling
It's just
the entire
yodeling.
time. I just got off of a weekend of doing fucking 8-man 405 TOAs. Those are screaming and yodeling the entire time. When your entire bingo team is kind of drunk sending 405s, like the entire thing is screaming and yodeling. Absolutely. Let's yodel all the live long day, baby.
All day, dude. Nothing would change.
Yeah. I don't know.
Funny. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, if the kid's screaming, there's probably a good reason. And I mean, I already do that too. So like either situation, I'm here. We're doing it. And finally, would you rather play RuneScape with one eye covered or a working mouse with your non-dominant hand?
What the hell? Would you rather get slapped in the face or shot in the chest? Dude, I would rather play with one eye covered. No problem.
But would your depth perception be off like after a while? Or do you think you could recover?
So your depth perception would actually get better. So I used to shoot in college. I did Olympic rifle in college. It was one of the things I did.
Wow.
Shot for MSU. And I am a left eye dominant person. So when I go like this, you can kind of see it. I'm looking through my dominant eye. You see it's my left eye that's being shown on camera, right? I'm left eye dominant, but I'm right-handed. So what I would have to do is, so you're right eye dominant, I'm pretty sure. You're right eye dominant. I'm left eye dominant. Fairly certain.
This one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right hand.
Assuming.
Right eye.
Yeah. So
I don't know what I was doing, but I did it.
Let's see. I am, given the Discord invert, I am left eye, left hand.
Nice.
But because I'm a right-handed shooter, my trigger finger was over here, I would have to kind of turn the rifle to be up to my eyeball here to shoot, right? This is not how you shoot, like, actually. This is like Olympic shooting. It's kind of like we saw, again, in the Olympics. It's not like going out back with a 22, with like shooting skeet or anything. So I had to wear glasses that I made myself, where I took like a pair of sunglasses that were my protective gear, and I blacked them out. I covered it with like black tape, and my eye was essentially wearing an eye patch with my protective gear, and I was shooting with my left eye covered, because eventually what I would do is I would put my glasses on and I would essentially blind my left eye, and my brain would switch dominance to the right eye. Because that's what your brain does, right? If you're left eye dominant and then your left eye gets taken away, your brain switches dominance to the other eye for a short period of time, and then you kind of readjust when you have your vision back, right? So I would absolutely play with my non-dominant eye. All I would do is just close my left eye the entire time. I'd be fine. We'd be chilling.
Nice.
But what was the other question? A left-handed mouse?
No.
What in the hell?
Yeah, so you would play with your non-dominant hand on a working mouse. I think I could do either, honestly, because I'm low-key a little bit ambidextrous in some things. Like, it doesn't... like, all but writing, I think I can do pretty well left or right.
I could make the keyboard work with the F keys. I could not make the mouse work. I do not know how I would physically be able. Even going like this feels weird.
Yeah.
Like move it like that does not feel comfortable for me right now. So I would have a much easier time blinding myself and deafening myself than I would playing with my left hand. Interesting would you rathers, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, thanks, Otis. Always fun with the way his brain works. It's so fascinating sometimes. I love it. He could write an entire book of like would you rathers and I would read it. So appreciate that, Otis, for the fun question. That's it, guys. If you want to send us a fun question, you can do it a bunch of different ways. We have a fun question section on Discord. If you're a patron, we have postcards that you can mail us to our P.O. box. You can send a message to our socials. You can send us an email. And we do everything except for like a phone-in line. There's like a way that you can leave a voice message on Spotify, but like I've never seen that happen or seen a way that we can check it.
Don't open that can of worms. Don't do that.
If you've left us a voice message, I don't know where it is. So anyway, that's going to do it for the fun question. And that is going to do it for the episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you want to find us in our social media accounts, they're all linked in the description below. We have a merch store. If you haven't seen our merch, it's pretty cool. I'm wearing some old merch with the classic logo. We don't sell that anymore, unfortunately. So it's vintage, if you will. And let's see. We stream on Twitch. Sometimes we'll stream on our personal Twitch accounts, so you can follow those. But let's see. Anything else? No? Okay.
No, I think we're good.
You guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.